What is up, all you beautiful people from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty? My name is Sean Jetty. You're watching Sean Jetty Art. We've got some cool stuff going on today. We got some cool stuff. Guys, ladies and gents, we got the Nosfero proofs in yesterday. And so I've been going over them, but I wanted to show them to you, go over them with you, and show you where we are. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday today. It's been crazy, but it's great to be back here with you guys and see how everybody's doing. There's Amoral Fat 40 Ounce. There's Past Master Dan. We've got Michelle Bowers in the house. It's great to see you, Michelle. We've got Drummer on Fire right there. It's good to see you. Yo, yo, yo. And then, of course, let's get to some channel members here. The first, the Alpha, the Omega, Mr. Stephen Rockwood is in the house. We've got Mucky 2000. Not Monkey, but Monkey 2000. Either way, it's good. Shadowhawk Talks is here. What's up, Shadowhawk Talks? How are you doing, Springball? Oh, do I want to show you guys some Springball story stuff I've been working on. Grey Wolf Graphics, and of course, channel member first in the chat was infamous Mr. Cursed. And let me see if I missed anybody else. Okay, I think I've got most everybody. And another channel member just rolls in. Comic Books in Cahoots. It's great to see you, my friend. I have that Rocketeer poster board. Yes, indeed. Rocketeer is one of my all-time favorites. Absolutely love that movie. Love that poster by Dave Stevens. It's such great stuff. And funny enough, Rocketeer was a big influence in terms of how I went about the format and design for both Nosfero and everything I'm doing. That and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first collected edition from 1984, I think it was. Maybe it was 86. Someone in the chat might know. But the one that had the painted cover on it and was my first publications. I guess that was the name of the company. And they did all of this great stuff. And all those things were 8.5 by 11, which is great. Rocketeer is the main villain in Arc Raiders. No kidding. Really. Holy cow, man. I absolutely love, just love that comic and love everything. But I've been, my friends, my dear friends, this, doing two books at the same time is a lot of just back and forth going over things, and especially when I know Amoral, I know. Oh my lord, is especially difficult when your printer goes out of business. You know, because I'm sure because of the lockdowns, you got to find yourself a new printer. You want the books printed in the States, and you also want to make sure they're really high quality. What's up, Stealth X5? And so that process has been nuts, and then going back and forth about the colors and how, you know, to get the colors right, because the colors are very important to me on these books. But now, thanks to the wonderful, wonderful folks over at my printer, they got me these two proofs of the book. Now, to give you guys a sense of what these are, and, yeah, different Rocketeer, by the way. I know Amoral Fat 40 Ounce. I know. But these kinds of things keep us young, don't they? They keep us enjoying ourselves. And actually, since I'm looking at a monster book, speaking of that, I feel like I want to put on my monster ball cap today. I want to get some pins on here, man. So, I like to collect pins. When I was a kid, we would go to we'd go over to visit family in Austria, and they had, I forget what you call them, with the you know, the German hats that all the kids used to wear, the green sort of legit German hats or Austrian hats. I get in so much trouble for saying German there. Yeah, it kind of does. Well, in terms of the art books, but the Nosfero, the two different books, what do you call those hats? It's like I can think of everything. The cookies are Lebkuchen, Knedels, Christnugs. Shoot, what do you call the... I forget what you call those hats. Anyway, but we used to collect pins of all the different places we went and put them on there. So I always loved collecting pins for hats and hat pins. So that was one of those things. What's up, Caleb? How are you doing, man? So let's talk about this. So these books, the reason why this particular campaign has been, you know, so expensive and so intense of a process is I had to design. I do everything on these books. So I had to do the graphic design, but then they have two different interiors. So it's not like we're looking at, you know, two different, like they print the book interiors and they print the cover. It's crazy. You're going to make me wish I backed more copies when I get this in your hands. I hope so. I sincerely, I hope that when people get this stuff, they go, man, I wish I'd gotten more of these, because that means the book's good. You know, that means that you guys, you know, are happy with the quality and you guys like, you know, like what you see. And that's the main thing. That's why I'm so, you know, meticulous about the color of this stuff. God, I hate when my bill isn't curved right. But that's why I'm so meticulous about this stuff. Yeah, it's the Alpine hat. You know what I mean? The green. But there's the Austrian name for it I'm blanking on. And so I can't really think of what it is. Let me see. Are those Austrian hats called... I don't know. I gotta think about it. Let's see. No, I don't think so. Is that what they're called? I don't know. It's been so long, man. It's been so long since I've been to Linz and been to Austria. So, but yeah, I mean, the thing... yeah, Alpenhut. Alpenhut. Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely, right? That's how it would go, man. So here you go. This is the art edition. Now, what these are is they're printing it on the cover stock here, so I get a sense of this. They did not keep this heavy of a cover stock in stock, so they had to order that special for our books. So, because I wanted to really make sure I had a nice heavy paper stock. So this is the art edition. And actually, let's start somewhere else here. So you get this. This is the paper stock. Now, this costs a little bit more to do. So what you're having them do at Farfignogen. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. So this is the thing with these books is that what I had them do is they're printing it on the printer with the exception of certain finishes of what the book is going to look like, so you get a sense. And this takes a while to set up. So they set up the printer for you as if they're going to put this to press, and they run through one copy of your book, so you know exactly what it's going to look like. I'm gonna put my hat on my knee for a second here. What they're gonna look like and what, you know, the color is gonna be. So if there's any problems here, you know there's problems there. Now, because they have to set up the printers to do this, it was taking a little bit of time, and I was asked on a few occasions, "Are you sure you want to do this? Like, we could just run the books off, but I mean, if there's a problem," and I go, "No. I would rather spend the extra money, because you can get a physical proof, but a physical proof is just for you to proofread. It's not going to give you the colors of the book. Getting a printer's proof run off of the printers is a completely different kettle of fish. So you're going to get something that's way, way higher quality. So let's take a look at this. So one of the things I'm going to look into on this, I want to start by talking about this, and I'll show you what I mean, is that I want them to double check the files, because for this one, for me, the reds aren't as saturated as they typically are, and I'm concerned that some of the darkness in here is because it was run through, the files were converted to CMYK, imported into CMYK, and then exported again. Typically, to preserve the reds, you want to run it in through RGB, put it into InDesign, and then export it. And there's a couple of pages where I'm going to show you where that happens. Yeah, this book is an instant rarity. There's no getting around it. If you missed it, it's especially the art editions are going to be so rare. Do not part with those unless it's for a premium. So here we go. So now we're going to come into the book here. So here is the first page. Thank you so much, Michelle, by the way. Let me take a second to to say thank you. I appreciate that. So here is the title page. Now, unlike the first edition of this book, it doesn't have a signatory page, but it does have this piece of artwork that is in the front of the book. And so here's what that's going to look like. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. With the oxidized edition, where the Z, if you guys can see it, is like almost like a 2. And that was sort of the idea for me of naming it the oxidized edition. What's up, Timmy Mello? How are you doing? Great to see you. Happy Sunday. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Black is the K. So basically it's the 3 colors Isaac Newton, just 3 primary colors Isaac Newton found in light, which was red, green, and blue, are what I bring my files in as, and then CMYK are the printer colors to approximate that, which I'm sure you know. So it's always trying to figure out what the best mix is with that. So got this, really looking nice. Here's the interior right there, and here's a really good example. You guys probably can see this right now. This is the same logo as the logo on the cover. And I want to double check to make sure it's not just a paper stock thing, but look at the red and the kind of yellow earthy tone right there. And then look at the cover. Do you see how much darker? Look at the end. See how much darker that is? It looks like it got desaturated and darkened, which could be a factor of it not going through that particular print process. So in there, I've caught a couple of pages where that seems to have been the case. And what's amazing is I've been able to check them against the art edition of the book. But that's spot on. That's dead to rights on the color. Here's the beautiful introduction by Mrs. Ingetti. I honestly, the first time I read this, I was blown away. I cannot believe. I mean, I can believe, you know, in some ways because excuse me. She's watched this process, but I mean, if anyone ever wanted to kind of know, hey, what's Shantha actually like from the person who knows him the best, there was stuff in here I was like, wow, I was kind of amazed. So yeah, tip of the cap to Mrs. Ingetti. And here you go. Here's page 1, and I got no complaints on this, guys. Look at that. The colors are great on this proof, man. Really nice. This page is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And here we go. Wait till you guys see the art edition with no lettering on it. It's going to blow your minds. I cannot wait to give them the go-ahead on these books and get these printed up and shipped out. Because, gosh, okay, let me see if I can let me see if I can make, like, all this make sense. So, you have a printer, you use a printer for a while, they figure out your colors. When you start with a new printer, you're starting from scratch. You're going over things like paper stock. I mailed them a hard copy of the first edition of Nosfero so they could check the colors physically with the book. That's how nuts I am about this kind of stuff. And they've been great going back and forth with me. But now that I know they can get my colors right, so good. I am feeling so excited about... So I'm doing 2 books with them, the art edition and the oxidized edition. Book number 3 is going to be Springball. And this has just been like fuel in the tank to see this proof of Nosfero. It's so crazy. And again, apologies to those of you guys who missed this campaign. I don't know when I'm going to be doing Nosfero again, but we'll see. We'll get there when we get there, because it's a lot to do these books, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to make it work. But here you go again. Like, look at these colors, guys. This is like looking at my paintings when you get these books, except for the art edition is really like looking at my paintings. So now we're going to get to a spread that stopped me. And I went, uh-oh, something's wrong with the colors. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay? Here we go. This spread right here. Now, this spread, to like the casual observer, when you look at this spread might look like it's like, okay, especially because the camera is adjusting the color. But now I'm going to grab, and this is the great thing about having them do 2 books and being able to check them against each other. Now I'm going to show you the same page on the art edition without lettering. And for some reason, during the process of the files for the book that has the text in it, something happens where I think it's the CMYK RGB conversion. something happens where things get dark. Now I want you to take a look at the two. Look at Nosfero's face in this one versus this one. This is the art edition. Do you guys see what I mean? Well, people go like, what are you guys doing in Comicsgate when you're self-publishing your book? And like, why do these things take this long? And You are looking at the entire team right here with the exception of the mail labels. The entire team in terms of production of this book. I'm in charge of the color, talking to the printers, laying out the files in InDesign. Eric Weathers, thank God. No, there's another person. Eric Weathers does the letters. He does that, so he helps big time. And but I just want to point that out because these are a complete tonal step, and that's what we do these for. That's if I had just said no, go ahead and print the book. All of the double page spreads of this spread would have looked like this. Look at her hair color. Look at her. Let's do it side by side over here so you guys can see. Whoa. So you guys can see the difference. Do you guys see the difference there? Look at Nosfero's face. Well, shoot, you can't see it because of my big head. Hang on a second. Can I move that? Unlock it. I'm definitely going to have to make myself a little bit smaller there. There we go. Can you guys see what I mean? So look at the leg to there. Desaturated, not as warm, very different. And guess what? If 100% amoral fat 40 ounce. If you're huge, says Past Master Dan, indeed. And if you don't care, right? If you're the kind of person who's publishing your books and shipping them out and saying, I don't care, and let's just race these things out and not worry about quality control, then you can ship this. And I don't know what people will think if they don't have something to compare it to. Or if you say, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. But you guys know this. You guys are how seriously we take this with the color. It's so important. Yeah, brighter in comparison. What I always say, it's muted. Some areas are less vibrant. Absolutely right. And so that's the whole thing that we look at, right, when we're putting this stuff together is how do I get that to work? So now, because I have both of these here, let me see what's on this next page. Okay. So here's the next page. Let me move this out of the way. And here's the next page, interiors of the oxidized edition. We put these two side by side. And it's going to adjust a little bit the value because of the lighting scenario. But when you put these two side by side, I can tell you from my vantage point, the colors are spot on. And there's just a glare. There's a weird glare on these two, so you kind of can't get them exactly in focus. But these two are great. They work just fine. You see the full value range. You see the full color. Now, the problem becomes some of the content on the next spread. But let me see if I can do this. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do this here. All right. And what is up, Corey Landis? How are you doing? Each page is sexier than the last. That's the goal, Corey. That is the goal. Yeah, it's muted and somewhat less vibrant. The difference in person, the camera I'm using. What's up, Jimmy the Lumberjack? How are you doing? Hail Shoth, happy Sunday. I can't wait to meet the CG Kings and the fans. Indeed. It's going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. Mrs. Angetti and I were just talking about it. So let me make sure this page is decent. Okay. This page is... Let me see how much of it I can show. All right. So I can show that much of this page. You guys know the page. You know why I can't show more of it. So now, this is the other page. That's an issue. No pun intended. So, let's see if I can take this page out without putting it on camera. Here you go. Look at the difference. Look at the difference in terms of the detail you can see in here versus what you can see in here in the one with the words on it, with the lettering on it, by the great Eric Weathers. Don't get it twisted. But do you guys see what I mean? It's a massive difference on this spread. And this is one of those signature spreads in the book. This is where I'm really going full tilt pulp. I wish I could show you the lower part of this figure because you can really see where the light passes through the glues and then you get a warm shadow and you get a cool highlight. Then you really can see the difference. And what's really strange is we went over this page. And so this was one of the pages that I thought we had fixed this RGB CMYK. You know what I'm talking about. Absolutely. Huge difference. Huge difference. And that's the thing, Michael. When I look at this stuff, I think, like, that is such an important thing. Now, here's why I bring this up, right? And I know color theory, and I've seen a lot of this. What's up? Moromi celebrates 1 month of membership. Hi, everyone. You're going to get a cheerleader for that, because when we have anniversaries, we get cheerleaders. So here you go, my friend.
Charge! Charge!
There you go, and congratulations on your first month. Easy there. This is a family stream. Yes, I know. I got to watch my... I'm not even going to finish that sentence because that's going to be... that'll be even more trouble. So when I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking about people getting this, this is one of those pages where you suddenly learn when you're looking at this page, you're not in Kansas anymore. Like, this is a comic book that is a painted comic book. Here's where I was going to go with it. So here's the thing. I got that Tosh and Frank Frazetta book. I was so excited for that Frank Frazetta book. Now, I've seen some of those originals in person. And believe me when I tell you, it was one of the most frustrating books because it is a great collection of Frazetta's work because it's almost everything he ever did. Not all, but almost. But every painting to the page is too dark. It's too dark like this. And what it feels like when you're looking at an art book or an illustrated book that's this dark, when you're looking at it, is it feels like you're reading the book in an unlit room, which means when you don't have a bright light on it, like I have a bright light on it right here, and all of that detail is lost. You should be seeing all of this, all of that in the face. That face should not be a stark shadow. All of that stuff is gone. And that is so frustrating for me when I think about people getting books that are sub-quality in terms of the lighting and the color. Because that's really... people who buy my stuff, and particularly Nosfero, are big fans of art and story and pulp and all of that stuff. And I want to make sure everything is great. Yes, I know. It's tough. That's true. Oh, these are great words. I'm trying not to laugh, but you guys are killing me. I'm gonna get in a coughing fit. So that was another page. If I can carefully move that here. Let me see if I can put this together right. Alrighty. And yeah, this book definitely has some great pulp stuff in it. So now let me take the art edition. I'm going to put it up here because we can do this. Yeah, the darkness does make it kind of spookier. However, yeah, it's got a nice... It's... Here's the thing. You know, when you're working with printers that are quality, it's not going to be... It's not going to be awful. Fantastic comparison. Great work. Thank you for going through this with us. Happy to do so. Ray is happy. Happy to do so. And thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you guys. And so, yeah, so that's one of those things that when I see it, I go, like, that I'm going to have to get that fixed. So here we go. All these spreads were fine for me. I looked at these and I was very happy with how they came out. I wanted this page always to have the proper lighting, but I want you guys to get an experience of, particularly with the art edition, of what it's like to look at my paintings. It's so crazy to think about publishing an art edition of this book, and those of you guys who supported it, I'm so happy. So this is digital print. I'm doing digital prints on this because after going back and forth with the offset, I wasn't comfortable with the color thing. There's too many... There would have to be, for the amount of proofs I'd have to do to get this prepped for offset, I would have to... That'd be a long process, and people... And I also am not certain it would give me the colors I need. So that's the real trick. You know, how is communication? They've been great. They've been great. The only issue we've run into is the fact that they're the biggest printer in the United States, so they are swamped, but they've been unbelievably great at communicating color stuff with me and paper stock stuff. And that's a big back and forth because for me, if the colors are really bright and luminous, but they're the wrong colors, that to me is a no-go. So I just that was something that was a big thought I had about the whole process, was trying to figure out what was the best way to get the best book possible. And I mean, this spread right here is probably one of my favorites in the book. Like, this spread was a last-minute addition to Nosfero, and when I was working on it, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? What's up, Sir Lester? Sir Lester. I can't believe I always, like, continue that. It's like I'm trying to say Mysterio or something. Hale, it is great to see you, my friend, and welcome. I love that freaking profile pic. It's great. Yes. Oh gosh, where it just jumped. Yes, digital has come a long way. In some cases, it's replacing offset. Yeah, you know what it is, too? Is that I'm pretty sure I did offset for the first Springball because digital wasn't where it is now. Actually, I know I did offset for the first Springball editions. And while those are rare and worth picking up if you see those, the colors are so off from the files, and it drives me crazy. What is up, Christopher Sheriff? How are you doing? It's good to see you, my friend. Hail, Sean, those pages are righteous. Have you ever exhibited your art in a museum or public gallery before? Yes, actually, when I was a professor at Rhode Island School of Design, we had faculty shows where I had my stuff in. I did do a group show on some college campus, I can't remember, of natural curiosities. The show was called Animalia. So my painting of a dodo that was based on the Roland Savory one that's in the British Museum of Natural History was there. A cuttlefish painting I did was in there. So a bunch of different stuff like that. So yeah, and it's fun. It's really, it's crazy to put stuff up in a gallery, and I guess that's kind of the cool thing about comics right now, is that I was fortunate enough to get to go to the Words and Picture Museum up in Northampton back when Kevin Eastman had that. It closed in the 90s. I think it closed in 1994 when I graduated from college. And it was so great to see things like Travis Charest originals and all of the cool stuff that they had there. Of course, Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird originals. But comic book artwork has only been going up. Original artwork has only been going up in value. And I think it's because when you see it in a gallery space, you think, hey, that's going to look cool in my home. And some of you guys own my originals, so you know. What is up, Garfield's Bizarre Adventure 5758? Let me get you on screen here. Can you give us an update on the progress on editing out all the puppet shows for EVS Trashcast? EVS got spooked and privated all of his... Oh, well, actually, he hasn't asked me to do that yet. Is he doing that, or does he want to hire me to do that? Because if he wants to hire me to do that, I can do that for him. That's not a problem. But I know we talked about it, but I mean, the biggest thing about doing that, which actually he can do that video by video in YouTube, it's so time consuming. You're going to lose the chat. Yeah, that's something. Oh, he's going to have to bring somebody on for that. But no, we haven't talked about that. But thank you for the super chat, my friend. And yeah, we're going to have to look into that. There's a lot of stuff too. There's so much going on right now. It's been crazy. Let me get you some cheerleaders, and thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated, my friend.
Charge! Charge!
Oh my lord. And yes, thank you so much. Hail Leg Kick 1, and I'm so glad to see you in the credits as a channel member. And thank you again, by the way, Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. I hope you are doing well. I'm assuming you are what is his first... I forget what his first name is. Is it the guy who draws JoJo Bizarre Adventure? Is that Araki? Is that who does it? A-R-A-K-I? I can't remember offhand. Yes, Shadowhawk Talks. Hail all, Shant, and the chat. Hail to you. Laugh out loud. There is Fukuri afoot. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah. It's getting ridiculous. I was catching up on some of that either last night or this morning. I couldn't tell you what time it was, but it's been very frustrating, and I know it's taken a particular toll on my friend Shane and Yanzi, and it's been kind of nuts. And oh, by the way, so make sure I cover this today, guys. Inglorious Rex, the I guess it's a Second Chance campaign now, is up on 9 Lives Comics. The link is in the description. It is closing. That campaign is closing down on Tuesday, so we're going to have a big closeout for that. If you have not backed it yet, go check it out. Go support Shane, because where my work is going is going to be to a crowdfunding platform that Shane and Yanzi are putting together right now as we speak. So if you want to support them, as they're paying out of pocket for this stuff, go support Inglorious Rex and support the things they're doing, because they work so hard, those two, and they do a great job with their books and their stories. I've been happy with everything I've received from them, so make sure you go check that out, guys. Inglorious Rex, we want to make sure we support that book. So yeah, I cannot wait to see that book. So here we go. Here's another spread right there. I can't believe, I gotta say, with all this time, and amen, yes indeed, guys, amen. We'll take a look at that campaign in a little bit. I'm gonna call that up. So here's the thing about this. I still look at this book, and it's hard to believe that after those first 2 art books that I was insane enough to say, all right, I'm going to do a fully painted comic book story. And it's going to be book 1. It'll start and it'll resolve in this book. And then every book will be a self-contained adventure, because painting a book, you don't want to do it in installments because it would take forever. You want to make sure people get the book, they've got the whole story, and they get to the end of the story. And so this right here is, I look at this is so much work. I can't believe I did this. I mean, I really look at this, and I could not be more proud of this book. I keep thinking, like, yes, I see things I would love to fix or correct. Every artist has that when they look at things, but I can't believe. Yeah, indeed, Shane and Yanzi are great, man. Great people and doing great stuff. I miss so much popcorn chomping in CG. Yes, indeed, yeah. Sometimes you got to chomp some popcorn. But this stuff right here, I cannot believe it came together, and to see this finished is crazy. Garfield says, let me see here. Okay, if EBS isn't hiring anybody to edit the videos, then it's safe to say that he's not going to upload them. Oh, EBS is too busy counting on stream, is he? Oh my gosh, yeah, well, if he's got to make that money, I guess. So thank you again for the super chat. Yeah, he's got to, I'd love to see him do that. I'd love to see him. Hail Michelle Bowers and A. Riley in it. Wait, did I miss A. Riley? And I'll get to your cheerleaders in a second. Where's A. Riley? Oh, there we are, of course. I just got confused from that. And Baldo User's coming in here with another super chat. Hey, what's up, man? Hello, Shanth. Will you tell us about your plans for the future? What stories are you cooking? Will you use other crowdfunding platforms? Yes, I'll be using Back Me Bro, which is Shane Davis and Yanzi Lynn's crowdfunding platform for the next crowdfund I do, or for the next book I put out, which I'm not sure. I have an idea of what I want to do for that, but I'm still looking at it, and I'll announce it here. This will be the first place I announce it. So wait, let me catch up with these. I've got some couple cheerleaders down here now. Hang on a second. So cheerleaders got 2 rounds of these.
Charge! 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 Charge!
Thank you guys so much for these super chats. And yes, that's where I'm looking to take this stuff. So now let's take a look at, let me see if I can show you much more, because I don't want to be, okay, I can show you one more spread, because I've shown these before and you can find these. So this is what the spreads look like when you're seeing the oxidized edition. You're going to get the story. There was a couple of corrections and a wording thing I didn't like, and there was a few other things in the script. But now let me go to the bonus section of this book. And the bonus section is where I am the most excited about. I don't want to show I was almost about to show the last page of the book accidentally, so I don't want to do that. Hang on. Watch me do it anyway, but, what are you going to do? So this right here is where the bonus section starts, and this is what you get in this section. So John Malin was kind enough to allow all of us who did stuff for the Visions book to have our artwork be usable by us. So the color repro on this, and this is exactly what it's going to look like, is stunning. And this is the bonus section. And the bonus section in this book shows you what the stuff is going to be in book 2. So, Baldo User, you were asking me if there was going to be, what story ideas I have for the next book. Here you go. This right here is a look at the next book and what's going to be in it. It's going to be completely nuts. This character is going to be awesome. And the story of this character is going to be awesome. Thank you, Corey Landis. I appreciate it. Everybody's giving love out there to Moromi. Everybody's saying hello, 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 hello. Look at that. Love to see it. Love to see it, guys. So yeah, so that's the stuff I am unbelievably excited for. And you can actually see one of my things I like about this character is there he is using his weapon, which is almost like a well of souls. And there he's got his shield, which is very much like the Ark of the Covenant. Really very cool and fun design, and you guys are going to love it. And then here we go. Here's a look at the layout page process here. Love this little shot here of Laurel and Greylock together praying. The way these stories come together is wild, but for this book, that shot, this like little down shot over this weathered and broken cross was just something that really hit me. I don't know how to describe it. It was when I paint Laurel is in many ways this kind of, yes, Golem of Prague inspired, I believe. Yes, it is. And that is why on the head, it says on the head of the of my Golem character here, it has and you can't see it because it's not painted as crisp as I'm sketching it in. It says Emmet, which is truth. And so just like the Golem. And so that's the thing. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. But this story, every Nosfero story I do has to be, and I'm so glad you can't wait for the book. I can't wait to get it to you guys. I mean, guys, this book, getting these 2 books done, because they're 2 different print jobs at the same time, which makes it more expensive, more complicated, because you've got to check the colors and the proofreading on 2 books. But guys, this is what you guys have been waiting for, which is your sneak peek into book 2. Let's see here. Next project, though, dig through the public domain. There's good stuff that can get a second life. Agreed. Yeah, I know. There's so much great stuff. I want to see more people doing that, actually. That's a really good point. But yeah, so let me see what else I have here. Okay, and here is a look at the first page of the second book in progress. So there it is at about 100% size. And then here it is, showing you the whole page with even the pencil sketch section there, if you can see it. It's to give you the scale of the crazy world that Laurel's in. And are you guys ready? Here's your look. And I turned this page, and I was like, I cannot wait to get these guys this book. It's killing me, guys. It's killing me. Ah! There you go. This is the last page right there. So this is, the second to last page. This right here is the cover for book 2. So there you guys go. So in the bonus section of this book, where I had it to, how finished I had it, that's the cover to book 2. Nosfero, Death Will Die. And so here is, of course, the onward section, thanking the usual suspects. I hope you wash your hands before you make me cry. Well, listen, if I could do that, that'd be actually delicious. You know what's funny is, I like all the like most basic food. I can't do spicy food. Like I was always more of like an Austrian food guy, but I do like me some lamb rogan josh. You know who freaking loves Indian food is I know, of course. I'm not even gonna dignify that. Of course, the love is mutual. I was thinking a Chokeout does, because in Britain it's a staple, man. I mean, it's but he does the I don't know, I think he does the spicy food. I cannot do the spicy food, or I'm like Ben Stiller in Along Came Polly. It's not going to go good places. Yeah, and so here is of course the last page with the Ayn Rand quote, and that is the oxidized edition, man. Oh, you know it's true. I've had barbecue on Beale Street in Memphis after going to Graceland, man, and that was a revelation. I do miss good Southern barbecue. I love ribs, man. Ribs are the thing. There's this restaurant we used to go to in Dallas. I don't know if any of you guys are from an area where they have them, but there's this restaurant we used to go to in Dallas called Houston's, and I think they changed the name to Hillstone, which is the same company that does it. But they had the best spinach and artichoke dip, and then the best ribs ever. I would just go there and just go, let's go. Bring me my ribs, please. Let's do this thing. Now my mouth is watering. Now I'm hungry. All right, so here's the book that so many of you guys have been waiting for, and I also want to give a shout out because he's not here in the chat, but I want to say, let all of you guys know that I wasn't sure if I was going to do a Nosfero second chance or an art edition, but this is how it works with fans, and it's one of the things that's so cool is a new fan came into the fray who's now OG, and he's been a channel member, a supporter. He's backed my artwork on auctions. He backed it at the highest Nosfero tier, which was the Crypt Treasure Trove tier. And his name is Mark's Music Obsession. What is up, Glass Machine? How are you doing, brother? It's great to see you. And he was the person who said, I can't believe Nosfero just closed when he found my site. He saw me mailing it out, and it was closed. And he goes, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to back this book. And so I said to him, I go, all right, I'm going to move up the launch of this book so that I can make sure you get a copy of this book as soon as possible. Yeah, he is a good man, and he's been through a lot. And what I will tell you this is too, Mark had a God bless him. Mark had a tough year. Yeah, he had a tough year. I think it was the year before this past year, but I could be getting everything confused. But he lost his mom, whose birthday is on Christmas. He lost her the day after her birthday. And then his dog of many years passed away shortly thereafter. It was a tough year, and we were fortunate enough. It was a great opportunity. At least I was fortunate enough. It was me who was fortunate. Is that he bought one of my auction pieces or some of my artwork off of one of my streams, and I was able to put a copy of a first printing of Nosfero in there. Gratis, because I knew he had backed the Crypt Treasure Trove, he had backed the biggest tier, and from you guys know this stuff, man. If you've known me for any period of time, you know this kind of stuff. I'll do this kind of stuff. I've been fortunate enough to know you guys. I know a lot of you guys. When we've got stuff going on and we get to know each other in the chat, it's always a good opportunity to reach out and try to. Yeah, just try to make things a little bit better. We don't have to reach out to make people miserable, which is unfortunately when I see people like Shane or Ethan or John or anyone else going through that, it's really frustrating. But it's why I think that it's so important to go sometimes the opposite direction with that stuff. So, guys, this is the edition. Of course, it's got a signatory page because it's a first printing. This is the art edition right here. And now I don't know if the art edition. I may always have a signatory page on the art edition, even when it's a second printing, because I feel like if I do one, I'm not committing to a second printing of the art edition. Let me say that real clearly. But let's take a look at this, and here's where you see it. So here's where the differences start. You've got a giant image of one of the pages from Nosfero blown up, and you can see the texture of the paper in this thing. And this is from a photograph of the original artwork. And so it's been knocked back a little bit so you can actually see the type and the special thanks here, which has been so fun to do. And my brother, of course, always getting a thank you. And then you get the introduction, and even the introduction has a lighter, more watercolor paper background on it because I wanted it to be special for those of you guys who bought the art edition now. Instead of having type and the little quotes I have throughout the oxidized edition that go with the book for the chapter breaks, instead of that, what I'm doing is I'm doing this for this book. And this is exactly what it's going to look like, guys. You guys are seeing that an actual proof off the presses. You're going to get a enormously enlarged close-up of a photograph of one of the pages in process or finished. And so this is what you're going to talk about. This is the difference between putting your nose to a piece of artwork and putting a magnifying glass to a piece of artwork. And if you think that doesn't make you self-conscious, let me tell you, it sure does. And so then we go right into the story pages and look at that. Completely just the artwork. Nothing but artwork on these pages. You guys can pour over these. Really great reproductions. Thank you to my printer. You guys are great to work with. I'm going to do a big thank you post as soon as I get all of these things from them. But there you go, guys. Unfiltered. Just the color, the paintings, all of that stuff coming together. Actually, I want to check that page real quick. I think it looks good, but this is how I'm still flipping through these. I'll go through these a bunch of times just to make sure. Good. I love to check my reds when I have a red page just to confirm that it's working. Let me just see here. Good. Good. Nice. Just want to make sure. Check the reds, check the reds and yellows. But there you go. I love these proofs because, I mean, guys, this is exactly what you're going to be getting. Now, it costs a little bit more money, as I said before, to have them run it off of the press they use to print the books, because that's a setup. Like, that's difficult. They're sending you unbound pages of what the book's going to look like with a fold-over cover instead of a perfect bound, square-bound cover. But all the paper stock and everything gives you a really good look at what the book's going to look like. So if you back Nosfero and you want to know what the book's going to look like when you get it shipped to you, this is how the colors are going to be reproduced. And they killed it. On the pages, there's only, that one spread and a single page. Where the color is off, it's easily fixable because they did it correct on the art edition. There he is! There's the man! Mark's music obsession. Speak of. There he is. Hail, brother Sean's crew. Sorry I'm late, brother. Glad I didn't miss the whole thing. No, you did not miss the whole thing. I am showing the proofs, Mark, of the books. I had just given you a shout-out for inspiring me to go ahead and launch this campaign so I could get you some Nosfero. And the Crypt Treasure Trove is going to be awesome when you get it. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. So excited to put those together for you guys. But yeah, here you go. The printer is crushing it. What's up? Well, you have to be. Think of your name, Leighton Gay. It's good to see you, brother. Sorry I'm late, boys. What a miss. Oh, we are looking at the two proofs for Nosfero the Crypt Walker. The art edition, and we just looked at the oxidized edition. Am I fashionably late? Yes, you are, Mighty Geeks. Dude, you're always fashionable. Irregardless, or regardless, as they say. But yeah, so this is the art edition. Note the absence of any text on there. And here we are. Just pure, unadulterated paintings in colors. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I am so excited about these books, guys. So let me talk a little bit if I can. Yeah, these are the proofs. They're here. We're there, Leighton. We're actually there. I'm so thrilled. And thank you. And hail, channel members. I must tip my cap to my channel members. Thank you guys so much for being channel members. So here's the thing, guys. Everything I ever did for any project, even when I self-published Springball, whenever I worked on anything, every time I got those projects back, because I wasn't doing every single thing, that Leighton, I'm telling you, they're crushing it. They're crushing it on these colors, man. This is going to be some beautiful, beautiful stuff. And every single project I ever did before my first art book, so I did art book 1, art book 2, and then I did Nosfero. I was always disappointed in the final product. Always disappointed. The colors weren't right. It was such a nightmare. It was so expensive. Offset printing was a nightmare to get colors together. And Nosfero is the first comic book project I've done, outside of pinups or things I've done for other people. It was the first comic book project I've ever done that is exactly what I wanted it to be. And I love this book so much. I have no problem saying that. And I know Springball is going to be what I want Springball to be, mainly because I know so much more than I did in 2002. But this is, I don't even know what to say. I am so thrilled with how this has come out and how this book's come out. Now, here's that double page spread that was a problem in the oxidized edition. We were just looking at that. Mark, because you're the one who essentially spearheaded the launch of this and backed it so heavy, you got to see this comparison so you can see how fine-tooth comb we're going over this stuff. This spread I can show you because it's safe. I won't show you the single page, but you can go back and see it on the stream. Let me grab this for you, brother. I love this book so much, man. I'm so proud of this book, guys. It's I can't believe I painted it. When this book came, my wife did say to me, please don't, but I remember saying when this book came in the mail and I saw it printed, I was like, I can die happy now. I finally made a book that I look at and it looks like what I had in my head. It looks exactly like what I was trying to do. And that is so rare, and it's taken me all this time. But let me see if I can. Here you go. This is this double page spread right here is the art edition, and this is going to be corrected for anybody watching this. It's not going to look like this when you get the final. I'll be talking to the printer on Monday. This right here is the oxidized edition. Something happened on this spread and one of the pages with the CMYK RGB conversion where it is drastically darker. Look at the Nosfero faces here on this, and let me move this up so you guys can get a little bit of a better look. It's tough with this light, but it is so much darker than it would look typically. And so I had to look at this, and I'm looking at it, and it's incredibly dark, and the colors aren't as saturated. There you go. Can you guys see that okay? Do you see the discrepancy? Look at her flesh tone, how gray her flesh tone is here, and then look at how rich it is here. And that is so important. That's why we have to go through these things with a fine-tooth comb. Guys, please back Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex. We're going to take a look at that campaign in a little bit. I want to call that up on my stream. So I was talking about this before. Next crowdfunded book I do is going to be on a platform that Yanzi Lin and Shane Davis have built, and called Back Me Bro. And Shane is right now besieged by crazy people going after him, and that is, it's so frustrating. But they're funding this site out of their own pockets, and they're doing it because they want to give a place where we can put our artwork out there and not have to worry about being canceled. The Indiegogo interface is completely nuts now. So if you would go, yeah, Yanzi Gogo, you know, gosh, well, you guys are killing me with these names. Warzord the Board, Time Lord. Oh my God, no, dyslexia. I have dyslexia. I feel like I should get some kind of help with that, some kind of individualized learning program. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Brutal. There you go. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's just, you want to make sure you get those colors right. And so when I looked at that and I saw the difference, and it's great because, well, the cool thing was my wife and I were looking through together. We were looking through the oxidized edition together, and then we saw, thank you, Glass Machine. I just saw what you did. Help make Yanzi Gogo a reality. Help make Yanzi Gogo a go-go. Reality, back right there on 9 Lives Comics, Inglorious Rex Volume 3 comic book Second Chance campaign. I want to talk about that book too. There's a special King Kong cover on this book, and I did have some creative input. I'd like to think. Let's pretend. Don't tell Shane I said this. But I was on stream with them, and we were talking about how the covers went together. If they put a verses in the middle of it, that it would be V on one side and S on the other side when you put the covers together with the type. And I said, well, you could just do a V, and then it's a chevron split in half. And it's just like that, like Batman v Superman and all that stuff. And Kong v Godzilla, I think it was. I don't know what it was when they did that movie. But yeah, Shane was... no, he wasn't. He wasn't brave enough to do that, Glass Machine. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. I'm trying not to start coughing, but you guys are going to get me. When I go on those streams, oh, my gosh. Whenever I'm on a stream with Shane, and Shane is like cracking me up, because on occasion he'll do that. He'll get me going, or John will get me going, and I start laughing. I mean, I was laughing at a stupid meme that I've seen before the other day, and I was laughing so hard upstairs I could not breathe. And my wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" But yeah, laughter is one of the best medicines that we have. So yeah, Shane is my kaiju brother. He's also my boxing and fighting brother. He's probably the only person I can have like conversations about minutia. Now, I'm not a fighter. I've done some training. I've hit mitts. That's about it. I've never sparred. None of that stuff. The only time I ever was in a fight was back when I was a little kid doing taekwondo, and then tournament fight. I was in more fights outside of those kinds of things, but the thing about it is that unabashedly, I'm a stat guy. So I watch old fights. I watch them like a true According to Hoyle fan. So I look at fighters. I learn about trainers' names, even nutritionists, things like that, because I really love the sport of boxing so much, So, getting into the minutia of the pull counter, getting into the minutia of the pendulum bounce that Russian and Eastern European fighters use, like Bivol. Just that's the stuff that I'm fascinated by. The way that a fighter like Dalton Smith, who's this really up-and-coming British fighter, who is an orthodox fighter but has this particular technique he uses where he circles against where you would typically circle when you're fighting a southpaw, and he is a southpaw killer. He's really figured out a weakness in the southpaw defense that makes him expert at. So that's the stuff I love. Sorry to get into fighting. Shane's not here, so I'll have to stop myself. Hale, what's up, Spaceman? How are you doing, man? Great to see you. Yeah, guys, the colors on this is what you're going to be getting, you know? Yanzi hates it when we call back me bro Yanzi Go-Go. I'm afraid it's going to stick for a while. Yeah, Yanzi should understand that's just a token of our love. I know I love their name, so it's nothing against the name. And I was one of the first people to see that name. Shane sent it to me on stream, which was cool because I thought he must really think I'm not going to tell anybody, which I didn't. I'm nerve-wracked. When someone tells me a secret, it's not like I have a hard time keeping it, but I'm worried about accidentally sharing it. What's up, Scribe Comics? How are you doing? It's great to see you. Women weak in the legs. Oh, man, yeah. And Burgess Meredith. What a legend. So I just got Batman the movie 1966, and every time I see Burgess Meredith in anything, that guy was an amazing actor. I want to tell a story about Batman 1966 in a second. Let me get to the Super Chat. Here we go. Super Chat $4.99 from Comic Books and Cahoots. You did great hosting. Oh, God, thank you. It was such a disaster. Hard art. I don't care what everybody else says. The 6-minute false start was my favorite part. Oh, bless you, Comic Books and Cahoots. Oh, I could not get to sleep that night. It was like a nightmare. It was, yeah. It was almost like a high school anxiety nightmare for me. Oh, bless your heart. You get cheerleaders for that while I collect myself, man. Oh my God.
Charge! Charge!
Thank you so much, Comics and Cahoots. That stream, I'll have to tell you all the story of that stream. Glass Machine knows, actually, because I put the stream, when I was building the stream, I put it up as a test. A Glass Machine was in there, and he commented on it. So it was a public stream at first, and then, but it was just me building it. It wasn't live. It just had a countdown on it. And what happened was, I had a StreamYard account back in the day. And that stream that I built it in, I guess, was a artifact of the old StreamYard before they upgraded StreamYard. So when I adjusted whether it was public or private, it wouldn't update no matter what I did. So it was updated to public, which is why you guys could comment in it, but it wasn't updated in StreamYard. Even though in StreamYard, I could see those comments the first time. So it was just a nightmare scenario. Let me see here. The All-Seeing Ian, what is up? Looking forward to this book. It'll be interesting to see how a color-driven book turns out 100%. And Springball is very color-driven. Everybody's saying hello. Yes, indeed, Penguin. Woo, Hail Scribe Comics. Yo, Spaceman. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Mark's Music Obsession. Time Enough at Last is another dynamite Twilight Zone episode. And yeah, it's great. Woo, hail All-Seeing Ian. Hey, A. Riley Ednit, long time no see. So here's the thing, guys. So I was listening to I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. Actress who played Catwoman in Batman the movie, not the series. Was it Lee Merriweather? Let's say it was Lee Merriweather for now, and then correct me if I'm wrong. She was talking about being on that set, and that everybody else was a part of this sensation, but she was going to be in that movie and out, and so she didn't really know anybody. And she talked about how welcoming all of those older cast were. So Frank Gore, because they knew she was young, she was starting out. They were older. Probably a lot of them were parents and had kids, who were her age, I should say. People like Burgess Meredith, all these incredible actors. And she goes, it's like they were looking out for me at every step of the way. They were helping me. And she goes, if you watch the scene where the submarine is under attack and there are squibs going off, Cesar Romero, the gentleman who plays Lee Merriweather is correct. Thank you, Chad Kaplan. I appreciate it. Cesar Romero, who was a gentleman, a true gentleman, as the Joker, actually puts his arm around her and is trying to stand over her so any squibs that come down don't hit her and hit him. And it's one of those beautiful moments that people, that I love to appreciate now, because we can choose to be those kinds of people in this day and age. We can choose to be ladies and gentlemen. And I love that. Oh, God, I love that. That is fantastic. Thank you for the Joker card emoji. It is loved, Timmy Mello. You get it. But Cesar Romero, there was a generation, and this is what we're trying to build, which people don't understand when we're doing this kind of stuff. You have to have respect for your elders. You do. You have to have respect for your elders. And elders have a responsibility to some extent, but I think that was a big thing we saw break down in the comic book industry, where people were canceling their elders, and in the academic industry, and I should say it is the academic industrial complex, we saw the same thing, and it really has been sort of shocking, because to me that's one of the most important relationships you build, is with the folks who have been in the industry and have experience and share those things with you. And it is, there was this kind of manners of being a lady and a gentleman that were so important. Congratulations, A. O'Reilly, is where I make no time for women on the internet. There you go. I feel like I'm missing so much stuff. Been a while, dude. With my fiance, Lina, met her in a CG chat. There you go. There you go. I see, a new emoji, Shanth. Give me the deets on it, please. Did you have it on a hat also? Yes, that was that's the hard art show that I do on John and Shane's channel. I had the opportunity, some would say the wasted opportunity, to host it over on this channel, and I bought StreamYard for it, because I didn't have StreamYard, because I knew I can't do group stuff on Ecamm as easily. But the resolution's better for art in my books, and it just went nuts. It was horrific. Sean, do we know if Matt Martin is still alive? I hope he is. I think he is. He hasn't posted anywhere in months. Usually, I think Matt Martin is very introverted. I'm sure he's still alive, but I think he's definitely a very introverted guy who goes into a cave between work. And yeah, Caesar's heroism came 75% from his amazing mustache. Yes, exactly. He would not shave off the mustache that gave him his career, as Adam West said, right? And such great stuff. I think he is, and I have to say, and yes, Mark, it's for that. I have to say that, yeah, I mean, to me, he's one of the most comic book accurate Jokers ever. It's like they took a Dick Sprang illustrated comic book, and if you guys don't know his work, he did the classic Golden Age Batman. It's like they took, or was it? Yeah, it was Golden Age, right? It wasn't Silver Age. And they took that and they pulled it out of the comic book and put it on screen. That stuff is so great. So fantastic. The All-Seeing, as a CG veteran, I also assumed she had a I can't get there sort of stuff, UK. All right, I got you. I see this. We're talking love in the chat. It was a guild, a proper guild of performers, where the secrets of the craft were shared for the next generation to succeed from the elder. That respect, unfortunately, is lost in today's generation, but maybe we're rebuilding a little bit of that here. I'd like to think that it happens individual to individual. There was another instance of this, too, where I watched two amazing actors, and dang it, I'm blanking on her name, too. Who was the actress? Oh, but it was an episode of Columbo, and Peter Falk is one of those. We've been watching the Columbo from the 70s and 80s. He's one of those actors that, just watching him, even when you are lost in the story, if you step out and think for a second, you're looking at an actor. He is so incredible in that role, and his ability to make you completely believe in his character is incredible. Cranberry Langers, my man, OG channel member. It's great to see you, brother. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Yes, indeed. We hit 2,000 subscribers. I forgot to mention that. As a result of hard art and my friends saying, all right, host it on your channel this week, Shanth, and they didn't know how wrong they were to trust me with that. We got ourselves to 2,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you guys, all the new subscribers. Hope you're enjoying this. And all of you guys who've been gifted memberships, I hope you'll re-up your memberships when that's over, so I can get to celebrate your 1 month and your 2 month and put your names in the credits. So if you were gifted a membership, by the way, your name is going to be in the credits of this show because I updated the channel member credits. Let's see here. Oh gosh, you guys are killing me in the chat. Guys are killing me. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Dick Sprang's parents, best baby names ever. Yeah, they were legends. I think we can say that. Michelle Bowers is saying hello to Cranberry Langers. Indeed. So here we go. Let's keep going through this book till we get to the stuff that's... Oh yeah, this is a page that I got to be careful of. Got to keep not all of it in frame. There we go. Yeah, and then we've got this spread. And you know what, guys? I am so grateful to you guys for pushing me to do an art edition of this book, because this book... Hey, there you go. Channel member Skeleton Core Comics is in the house. It's great to see you, Skeleton Core Comics. How are you doing, brother? We're looking at the proofs, guys. The print proofs. So these are off the machines that are going to print the books. So this is exactly what the colors are going to look. And I cannot wait. Yeah, it is too damn fun to use. It is. Yes, that was the thing about the emoji, is that you can type H-A and then put the R emoji in there and then D and then art. Because that's the logo I came up with for the show. So the very first, when that room was started for Hard Art, I had been on a stream with John and Shane. It was a late night stream. I don't know. I wandered on there. They were talking about a show. And then they were saying the show was going to be called Hard R. And then the chat suggested, and someone's going to know who it was in the chat, and I'm blanking right now, but the days are blurring. Someone suggested Hard Art for a name. And the second that John built the room and say, okay, this is the show, we'll see who we want to add, after this, I got to work on trying to come up with logos and running them by John. And of course, to me, it seemed like the most obvious thing to use that R rating logo. And see, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's so fun, man. It's so fun. And so yeah, that's the thing for me when I was doing that. And hail and welcome, channel member Skeleton Core Comics. So when I was sending that back and forth to John, and John would go take out the little restricted above the R, move it up, get it more centered. We decided on a font called Liquor Store, which is a really good font for it. And yeah, you guys are going to enjoy that now. So much fun to be had. So much fun to be had with that. And so once I was done with that, because I have a penchant for hats. Let's see if I can put my hat over there without getting it nuts. I decided that for the show, I was going to paint with acrylics. I haven't even gone over it with enough coats yet, but I was going to hand letter and hand paint an R-rated cap for when I do the show. So yeah, that's how that whole thing kind of happened. That's how we got to where we got to with that. And guys, it's the same thing with when I was doing Comicsgate Kings intros or any of the stuff that I've done. By the way, let me be clear about that too. This was not even... So let me just backtrack a little bit with some of the kind of nonsense that's going on right now. And yeah, people can back me up, or I don't need people to back me up because the truth is the truth, but people who know will know this. When I was doing intros and things for Ethan and videos and things for Ethan during that time, right, for Comicsgate Kings and everything else, including doing Comicsgate Kings intros for people in Comicsgate that I barely knew and who have since left and been like, I'm out of here. Not only was I not, of course, not in the Comicsgate Kings room, and a part of that whole thing, I wasn't even in the Comicsgate Live green room. So I wasn't in that for years. And all I did was work, build my channel, do this stuff, and that I'm amazed that I don't even know how to put that into words, how insane it is to me. But if you go and look at my Instagram, which at its height, no bought stuff, nothing but just my artwork, me and the internet. At its height, I had 38,000 followers, I think. But if you go back to 2018 or 19, I think it might have been 18, you'll see a painting I did of Mitch Breitweiser's Red Rooster character fan art on my public Instagram. So that's one of those things. Yeah, let's get those likes up, guys. We need those likes to go up. We need to let YouTube, because YouTube has definitely been They are an interesting force sometimes, this stuff. Yeah, don't forget to like. So many great intros. I was entertained by you way before I realized who you were. Yeah, a lot of people would say that. They go, wait a second, you did all those intros from like years ago? And I'm like, yes. That's the stuff I was doing years ago while I was drawing, while I was teaching, while I was being a parent, all that kind of stuff. And, but I was never thinking about it in terms of, I never thought, how do I put this? I was excited to be around artists and make artwork and talk to people that I had something in common with. Because when you get to a certain level of skill and practice, yeah, I have friends who work in the animation industry who are storyboard artists and who are concept artists, but that's not comics. And you want to talk about like certain nuances of comics and details of comics. And with Eric Weathers, it's lettering. With John Malin, it's lettering times 1,000. He's like, if lettering was a religion, John Malin would be orthodox lettering. Let me see here. It's just insanity, wall to wall. Spaceman, it's insanity. Yeah, so many great intro. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me see. That lady's woefully underdressed without occasion. Yeah, she kind of is in a bit, but yeah, that Rocky guy. Yeah, my brother Rocky. And so yeah, so it was always about finding people I could talk to about these things that are getting. Oh gosh. So here, let me show you this real quick. Yeah, shop talk, comic books and coots, not gossip. Shop talk, right? Where you go. Okay, so perfect example. This printer, I wanted to print in the U.S. Graham Nolan helped me with this printer. So Graham Nolan was, I messaged him and I said, Graham, who do you use to do your printing? And he goes, let me tell you who I use for a printer. Let me give you their contact information. He's a fellow monster kid. I love talking monsters with Graham Nolan. I got to have another monster talk with Graham Nolan. I sent him a message the other day because there was a great breakdown of The Thing from Another World, and such a great thing. Yeah, he is a brimstone, a fire and brimstone letterist, 100%. Yeah, Nomad Damon, what's up? And thank you for gifting one Shanthan Jetty membership to Corey Landis. We got to get some cheerleaders happening for you. Hail and welcome. Thank you so much, Nomad Damon. It's great to see you here, channel member. And looking forward to you seeing your name in the credits, all of you guys who get gifted memberships. So this is one of the page breaks where there's text in the oxidized edition and in the first edition. Instead, what I'm doing on these page breaks is I'm taking a high-resolution photograph of one of the pieces of artwork on, in progress that I took during the time or finished. And I'm blowing it up so that you guys can see it. This is like looking at the work under magnifying glass. If you look right here, you can see where it's picking up a tiny little scratch in the surface of the paper right there. You're seeing unbelievably dense detail and the paper texturing right here. And it is such cool stuff. Yeah, that creature from the Black Lagoon is going to be awesome. I cannot wait to get you that painting, man. You have to do what everybody who buys my artwork does. They'll post on X. They'll post the painting when it arrives, so I can see it and see it framed. It was great to see Lloyd Burton's painting framed, and of course this double-page spread, which we talked about when we were looking at the oxidized edition. My goodness, this was something. This was a last-minute addition to the book because I wanted to add more to the backstory to really show where things came from. And I go, if I'm going to add the more to the book, it has to be 2 pages because of the way the spreads broke down for all the quotes I wanted to have in the chapter breaks. And it's got to be good enough for you guys. That's the rule. The rule is it's got to be good enough for the backers. It's got to be good enough for Comicsgate. It's got to be good enough for Shanthan Jetty art, collectors, people who have all of my books, like people who have the Crypt Walker Treasure Trove coming. And I want you guys to be able to see all the subtleties that go into the making of these books. And Springball is being created digitally, but it's very much, and you're going to see this in a second, it's very much a painted book. It's very much me. I can't even describe what the style is like, because there's the Todd McFarlane influence that's in my superhero stuff. There's the Tim Vigil influence that's in my superhero stuff. But then there's also the painter's influence in that stuff, because I build it with color. And so it's, yeah, gosh, it's going to be so cool to see. But look, I mean, these spreads, when you see them with just the paintings, these aren't photoshopped together. These aren't separate little paintings. These pages are complete paintings, each one. And boy, is that stressful. Because when, thankfully, I've gotten comfortable. Like, I didn't know until I did this book how comfortable I was going to be doing painted comic books. There's a reason why Alex Ross doesn't do interiors. One, he needs to be paid for it, because he's not going to do a creator-owned painted book that I'm aware of anyway. That's not through a big publisher. But it's the amount of hours, you can never make back the amount of hours on the first or even the second printing of this. And that's the great. Hey, what's up, Wishmaster? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. It's great to see you here, and thank you guys so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. Yes, I posted the Eddie and the Bride. All works will be displayed once I get everything. I love it. I can't wait, Mark. That's going to be so great. And so here you go. And it's just, again, it's that Art Nouveau. It's the sort of the soft values. This is one of my favorite panels in the whole book, but it might be my favorite panel in the whole book, which is when they're finally freed from bondage. Greylock, embracing a young Nosfero, because they've just been imprisoned and tortured for most of their lives for, years. And they come together, and it's how Greylock sort of discovers his faith, and is by watching the faith in this kid who's going through all this, kind of a little bit like Conan, when he gets put on the wheel of pain, but a little bit more sweet, I should say. Take care, Spaceman. Yes, be safe, man. And I like the gotta bounce. It's a good pun for this room with Springball. Good to see you, sir. And have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And so, yeah, so here is the last spread I'm going to show before we get to the bonus features in the art edition, which I cannot wait to show you guys. So there you guys go. I mean, meticulous detail, and a lot of this stuff is going... Let me get to the bonus section here. A lot of this stuff is going into Springball. Springball is going to be the same size. It's going to be a nice 8.5 by 11 book, oversized, and it's going to be beautiful to see these on your bookshelf. Particularly if you're one of the few people who got the last copies of both art books, you're going to have a little Shanth library in your house of really nicely produced books. So let me not show the last page of the book. Here is the first page or spread of the art edition of the book. And you can see process paintings, close-up paintings right here, and details of how this book came together. And then a layout sketch right here. And then a behind-the-scenes sketch here, which has never been included in the first edition of the book, so it's only going to be in this edition. More layouts, more process stuff, and then the layout for this page that's in process. And I mean, this is just going to be a stunner, this book. Cannot wait to get this to you guys. Really cool stuff. And then here is, can't show the bottom of, well, no pun intended. Can't really show the bottom of this sketch, but that's the page I was showing before. And there's the step-by-step of me painting that face from pencils to initial color value, and then the finished painting right there. And then there's the sketch for that page. So all of my sketches are typically painted in this sketchbook. I think some of them were digital. When I got to the last couple of pages, I painted them in digital because I was needing to see all of them together. But most of them were done traditionally. So yeah, there you go. There's a look at, make sure I got these in the right order. And then here's another look at the layout page next to the page before I fixed her face. So this isn't a finished page right here. This is one I went back into and reworked, but I wanted to show you guys a process of it. You can see, look at that layout. It's crazy how much has to be solved on the layout pages with the value for me to be able to do what I do. And you guys are getting a great look at it. And then, of course, here's another close-up of one of the pages in process. Here is the onward section of the book. So always has all the special thanks and everything like that on there. And with the backer count. And then, let me see here if I can find this. And then this, one of my favorite pages in the book, is the very last page of the book. This photograph I took when I finished Nosfero, that has every single page crammed into this photograph from the book, I think. Yeah. So that's what this labor of love was, making this book. It was a gigantic stack of paintings, and it was a real labor of love in terms of the artwork. And I cannot wait to get these books, talk to the printer tomorrow, get these books rolling, go over those color concerns I have, and then we're ready to go. And then these are the same printers I'm going to be doing Springball with. And Springball is coming along, man. The book got bigger, the story got richer, and it got spookier, cooler, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that in a second as well. Let me make sure let me get a page here or something I can show on a page here, so it's not too crazy. Let me see here. All right, I'm going to do a screen share here. Let me see here. Let me see here. Alrighty, guys. And let me, you know what? I'm going to do this first. Let me see here. Let me see here. There we go. All right. Okay. Let me see if this works. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. We're going to try it out. So, yeah, and so I cannot wait to show you guys. And thank you so much for the kind words, by the way. I appreciate that, Comic Books in Cahoots. And thank you, Cranberry Landers, for just being here from the beginning, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, Springball's coming. It's going to be awesome. And those things are going to come together. And then this world of the horrors, heroes world that I'm making is going to be so cool, because people were asking me if there's any connection between the world of Nosfero and Springball, and there isn't. But the world of Springball is going to get bigger every single issue, and I'm going to be talking about that once I go over this real quick. I want to make sure I do this. Okay, let me do view. Get rid of that, and I just leave that. And I think that's all I need. Okay, cool. Let me see if this works. All right, so now I'm going to do this, and it's set to Photoshop. We'll get to that in a second. Don't you worry. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to go to Google Chrome. Here we go, guys. This right here is Inglorious Rex with the exclusive King Kong vs. 232 cover for the Volume 3 of Inglorious Rex Second Chance campaign. If you have not backed this campaign, for heaven's sake, please do. Shane Davis is an amazing artist, an amazing storyteller. Him and his wife, Yanzi, work on these stories and develop these stories. Lots of twists and turns. It starts out where you're very much seeing the story of these two brothers, one who's no longer with us, and one of them was the champion fighter, and when he was killed, these gigantic Rexes that they pilot that are they're biologically connected to, or they kind of jack into, so to speak, as far as like your standard kind of cyberpunk aspect of these things. But it's a kaiju fighting kaiju world, and what the world's about is basically this kid whose older brother was his hero. He was killed in a competition. When his brother dies, he wants to both get revenge and take up the mantle. His father doesn't want him fighting, so there's all this kind of, funny enough, rocky parallels in the first Inglorious Rex. But the reason why these Rex are learning to fight is because they're inside of Ark City, which is underneath this dome. And they're training because the dome is protecting them from these monsters called the Vile that are trying to get in. And inside of the world of Ark City, there's gambling, there's crime bosses like Little T and all of these other crazy characters that are in there, all the rival pilots of the different kaiju. Alex Stone's love interest, and her kaiju, she's also a fighter. And so the whole story, if you love that kind of stuff and you love, like I do, fighting and kaiju and monster creation, this is the book for you. So you can get the cover that has the no type on it, which is the Kong from the book, which is in the public domain, versus Rex. And then you could get this one, which I really love this one, which has the broken up V in the middle of it, Savage Kong on one side, 232 on the other side, and a dynamite female figure. Very reminds me of what I love about Mark Schultz's stuff, if you know his stuff from Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Just dynamite stuff. Really, really beautiful stuff. Yeah, back Inglorious Rex. There's the link right there, guys. And again, Shane and Yanzi just do an outstanding job. They actually trashed an entire print run of books so they could get them printed correctly because one of the bonus section pages was out of place. So they're consummate professionals, incredibly hard workers, and they've been really going through a lot of nonsense from people online. So it is just crazy. I got his art edition of Inglorious Rex. Shane's line art is really excellent. It is beautiful stuff. Yeah, if you know art and you know comics, like Shane came into the comic book industry and was kind of immediately, recognized for his talent and ability. He ended up at Legendary Pictures, doing a lot of stuff for DC through Legendary, and then working, of course, at DC Comics proper. And when he came in to this space, he's got some of the most interesting and crazy ideas out there with Starlight Cats, incredible entertainer too on streams, but one of the hardest workers in the space. And him and Yanzi are two of the hardest workers in the space. And I love this book. I enjoy everything he's doing in Inglorious Rex. And you can also get the 3D flip lenticular cover, which is not a reader copy because the lenticular cover is printed at a separate place and that's applied to the book. So it's a heavy plate. So it's much more of a display piece, but it's a 3D cover that you can actually see the perspective in, which is beautiful. Then there's 232 Beast Mode. So Shane has supplemental books he does where he hires artists who are fantastic in their own right to do artwork for them. And so this book right here is 232 Beast Mode number 1, which is illustrated by... the cover is illustrated by Aaron L. Fetchy, and the interior is illustrated by Anthony Gonzalez Clark. And Anthony Gonzalez Clark has been making a huge splash in Comicsgate in the comic book scene. He did Joe Frankenstein issue, I believe it was issue 3, if I'm not mistaken, for Graham Nolan. Maybe it was, I think it was issue 3. And then he did Beast Mode, which was a supplemental for Inglorious Rex. And then they also did a launch where he did the entire thing of Anatomic, a prequel story in this world, Welcome to the Arena. So there's already a massive library of books that you can catch up on 9livescomics.com for this world that we're in. So that's the Aaron L. Fetchy cover, which is new to this campaign. He's going to be illustrating the second volume of Beast Mode. So you can get tumblers. You can get, of course, the Great Mange, which is one of Shane's characters on his YouTube channel. And you get a Great Mange t-shirt there, and of course a Mange glass. There is the black and white beautiful cover. Here's your chance to own the original inked connecting covers, available only for this campaign. I bet you those are already sold. And then of course you could get for previous campaign perks. There's miniatures, there's prints, there's all this stuff. But take a look. This is Shane Davis's art. This is outstanding creature work. I do have to say, I know there's a lot of stuff you guys would like me to zoom in on this page. But that creature design for this cover, this is the best version I've seen Shane do of this cover, of this character, I'm sorry. He really got the sculptural quality of it and the kind of organic forms of that monster. And if you're a kaiju fan, it's such a great design. And I used to, my background is in teaching character design at Rhode Island School of Design. And then I taught also, I think I taught for a brief bit at Montserrat. But I also lectured those theories at MIT's Gambit Game Studio, Wellesley College, Microsoft Games, Warner Brothers Games, back when they were Turbine Games. And I may have done also when they were Warner Brothers Games. Same thing I did at Hasbro. And then I've also done some character design work for Hasbro, for television property they were developing, Mattel for a proof of concept property they were developing, and DreamWorks Consumer Products for How to Train Your Dragon and Monsters vs. Aliens. So my background is very heavy in character design. The art edition is beautiful. Shane finds more hours in the day to work than I understand. Yeah, he's incredible in that way. So believe me when I say, and a nice figure work too, Shane. Nice figure work, Ethan, by the way. There's little T. You might notice from the T on his shirt. Everybody loves little T for some reason. I can't imagine why. This is actually one of my favorite Ethan covers because he had such a great time with it. It's so funny. It reminds me of what I love about Kevin Maguire's stuff back when he was doing the DC Justice League stuff. But it's just, he does great expressions. Ethan's underrated as a cartoonist and a caricature artist. But that's why Rainbow the Brute's going to be such a great chance for him to flex those muscles. And so, yeah, here's Inglorious Rex. If you missed out at all, the mass print edition, Volume 2, you can catch up on everything. There is, speaking of comic book legends who we're fortunate enough to have working in our space, okay? This is Dale Keown. If you guys don't know Dale Keown's work, I don't know what to tell you, but he's probably one of the most important artists to ever draw the Hulk, period. There's Jack Kirby. Who have we got? We've got Jack Kirby. John Byrne did a killer Hulk. We've got I love Todd's run on the Hulk, but I don't know if we could call that a body of work, but it's my favorite Hulk stuff. But then you've got Dale Keown as he is in the top 3, if not top 2 artists ever to touch the Incredible Hulk. And number 1, by the way, is Jack Kirby, period. So that's the only reason it's not number 1, is because I always will, doff my cap to Jack Kirby. Nobody beats Jack. What a legend. But this is Dale doing his incredible creature work. This is one of the covers I got. So this is Anatomic Welcome to the Arena. Again, illustrated interiors by Anthony Gonzalez Clark. And look at that beautiful little Nine Lives Comics indicia there. Again, there's more great artwork and more cool stuff than you can imagine in these books. And there's so many different things to get. Matchbox cars. You could just go here and go crazy. There's the collected edition of Inglorious Rex, which collects volumes 1 and 2. That's 106 pages of story. There are the all-in, if you get the Beast box, you could get these miniatures. There's the Razor miniature right there, and there's the 232 versus Razor. Sorry, let me go to the creative team here. Writers Shane Davis and Yanzi Lin. Penciler Shane Davis, inker Yanzi Lin. Colorist Jason Wright, letterer the great Eric Weathers, who also lettered Nosfero, and his own book, the link's in the description here, is, of course, Battle Brick Road. So, guys, do check out this campaign, support it, jump into this world of Inglorious Rex. If you want to really have that comic book library growing of really well-produced books, I own these books. They're incredibly well done. Meticulous attention to detail from the trading cards to everything. I can't speak highly enough about this work and the stuff they're doing at Nine Lives Comics. Really killer stuff. So please go and back, no pun intended, please go and back on Nine Lives Comics, these great books. Get into the world of Inglorious Rex. Just jump into it. It's got everything a growing boy needs, which is kaiju, monster fighting, and some of the best artwork you're going to see in comics by anyone, anywhere in the space right now. So that is my hope for Inglorious Rex. I hope you guys will check it out. A good friend of ours, and a really someone I has helped me so much in this space and with a lot of things I've been working on. So can't say enough good things. Yeah, Battle Brick Road is nice. Absolutely love it. What's up, Cursed Heart Creations? How are you doing? Yes, indeed. Yeah, very good logo. Yeah, Keown's Pit Ashcan with just his line art is phenomenal. You're absolutely right. And that's 30 years old. He's only gotten better. Yeah, he's one of those. Yeah, Keown. Yeah, that's right. I used to pronounce his name horrifyingly. Yeah. Lil T is like your relatable everyman. He certainly is. Yeah. I can hear it yelling, take out the trash. You bet you can. Yeah, he is our favorite. But yeah, Inglorious Rex is a property that has huge potential for multimedia development, 100%. And it's just a great comic book, too. You can see it for video games. You can see it for so many things. But it's such a great book. Yeah, Inglorious Rex is amazing, says Cursed Heart Creations. Yes, indeed. It's true. So yeah, if you guys haven't backed it, let's get this campaign moving. He's been dealing with some absolute nonsense. It's got 2 days left on it. Do not miss it. Do not miss your opportunity to back this book because it helps them so much for all the things they're doing. I'm going to be crowdfunding my future books on the site they're building out of pocket. It's going to be a great site because their site runs so incredibly well. Their new site's going to be called Back Me Bro. That's where I'm going to be launching. As soon as that opens up, I'm going to have a campaign for it. And I want them to be able to not have to be under the constant pressure of doing all these things by themselves. The way that we help them is by backing these books and supporting their stuff, and they're quality books. But every time you back one of these books, it helps them. And I can't say enough good things about them as people. Really terrific folks. All right, so let me take a look here and go to, let me go to Photoshop real quick here and see. Yeah, so Back Me Bro site isn't up yet. Correct. It's not up yet, but there is a account on X if you want to follow it. So for Back Me Bro. So if someone wants to put the link in the chat, you can follow them, and when the site launches, you'll be able to go there and see it. But a lot of us are going to be moving our stuff over there because it's a lot easier to do than what the new Indiegogo is. So we're going to be, it's something that you're all going to benefit from. So support these guys as much as you possibly can. They're just, like I said, they're terrific people who are really putting it all out there. So let's talk a little bit about Springball. Yes, indeed. Yeah, anybody who could drop the link, please do. Much appreciated. Let me get that on the screen there. There you go. So yeah, so I have been working like crazy on Springball, working like crazy on this book. And Springball is going to be dynamite. And as I work on this book, as I put this stuff together, what you're going to start to see happening is you're going to see the world of it expand, the world of it get crazier. It's going to have a higher page count than Nosfero at this point, easily, because the story of the book and the world that I'm building is so much more insane than, how do I put it? It's not so much more insane. It's that I want that first issue. It's going to be a two-part series. I want that that first issue, and I have a rule for this series I'm going to tell you about in a second, to really be hitting you guys like a ton of bricks. I want it to just have everything in it that you love about comics. And so, yeah, I want to make sure you guys are checking that book out. Let me get to this chat here real quick from a channel member, Skeleton Core Comics. Inglorious Rex seriously rules. My favorite IP, and I would agree, yeah, in all of comics. I'm a sucker for kaiju stuff, and it's the most unique and cool kaiju property in decades. I would agree, and Shane's design work on it is fantastic. Had burger meat on my hands, or I would have typed that a couple of minutes ago. Understood, and I salute your burger, my friend. So let's talk about what Springball is and what this world is. So here are the rules of Springball for those of you guys who don't know the character and have not seen the world yet for this. Springball is going to be a book that is what I think superhero comics should be. And here are the rules I'm going with. So when I went off to college, one of the books I bought in the school store that had just come out was the Marvel Masterworks of Steve Ditko's early work and Stan Lee's early work on Spider-Man. And the thing that jumped out at me the most when I saw that book was every single issue of those first issues, oftentimes, not only did you get a new villain every story arc, you could often get a new superhero every story arc. And that's something that David Michelini, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but David Michelini did when he was working with Todd McFarlane. So he would write stories where you would have superhero characters or other hero characters that would sort of dip into the story. Maybe they weren't that prominent of characters, and Spider-Man would have a back and forth with them. And then there was his cast of characters that you had, J. Jonah Jameson and all the folks working there. But you would also have a new villain every issue, or a villain or two villains every issue. And so something I decided to do, I got to a point in Springball during the writing. Hail, what is up? Oh gosh, I always get this wrong. Is it Thrun? Hopefully I pronounced that somewhat correctly, and I apologize if I didn't. Hail to you, my friend. So I loved that. There's the Back Me Bro X link. Thank you, Mark's Music Obsession. Much appreciated. Follow them so you guys will know everything up to date on when the site launches. So when I started working on this book, I got to a point where there needed to be some exposition, and I wanted to go deeper into this world, which this is a little bit of an expository page right here you're seeing. And yes, Henry Thrun. There we go. Rhymes with run. Okay, Henry Thrun. Gotcha. Henry Thrun. And thank you, by the way, Henry. I appreciate that. And so when I started working on this and getting the backstory stuff together, which is going to be nuts, I realized that there was an opportunity here for me as I was expanding the book to bring a new character that's lurking in the shadows in this book, although you do get to see them pretty well, so that this book is going to have the first appearance of a new character. Because one of the things people have been asking me over and over and over again is, are there going to be more superheroes in this book? Are there going to be more villains? Is there going to actually be an expanding world to Springball? And I was thinking, I just want to make sure I tell this story first. And then I thought, no, but that's part of the story. that's part of the world is in this story. You get to see Springball's town, and you get an understanding of that town in a comic book logistical way. So it's not like need to know every cross street. It's not like an aerial map on Google Maps. You get a sense of different moods of this town and different places and locations, so it's easier for you to read. And then, but it's simplified. It's like you see these locations and these are where things happen. But I also wanted to show you Springball's secret hideout, where he goes, where he lives, which is one of the coolest things ever, and it's based on a real cool place, by the way. And then I wanted to introduce you to the supporting cast, introduce you to a villain, and I said, no, if this was a world that was a true according to Hoyle superhero world, there would be a chance to meet other people in this world. And especially because of the nature of the evil in this world and the villains. So there's going to be a brand new character in this world, and it's going to be nuts, and you're going to love it. These Sunday streams are so good. I'm so glad to hear that Comic Books in Cahoots. I'm having a blast doing them with you guys. It's great. Yes, Springball is such a unique hero. His lore and design is memorable and iconic. I can't wait to get this book. The mix of macabre, Lovecraftian occultism, and themes of superheroes, mad science rules. Yeah, that you've got. Wow, you should be pitching this book. You pitch it better than I do. That's everything I want to do in this book. I want it to be. Someone asked me about the rating on this book. Like, what would I say its rating is? And it's kind of tough to say because PG-13 is fairly intense now, and I'd say it's about right. But for a comic equivalent, I would say probably about the same level that something like Spawn is, or Spider-Man's Torment issues and Todd's run on the early Spider-Man series. I'm not really like I try to. It's hard to describe what I'm doing, but I would say solidly PG-13. Nosfero. There's certain things I don't like to illustrate. Like there's certain kinds of gore and things like that I don't mind creature gore, but I'm not a massive fan of people gore, so I try to keep that to a minimum. It's not my thing. I've seen a little bit too much of that stuff in real life, so I don't really like to delve too much into drawing it. Although when people do it in their artwork, I don't mind. I back stuff that's got gore in it. It's just not my cup of tea. But I do try to draw things that are very pulpy and crazy in that way. Awesome One is here. What's up, yo, Awesome One? Let's see. Yes. Oh, thank you again for the kind words there. Yeah. So it's for me. This book is it's got the sexiness. It's got the action. It's got the adventure. But you're gonna feel like you're in a superhero world that is that you feel like it's just exciting around every page. Like every time you do a page turn, I want you to be thinking about where could this go? Like where are all the places? I want people to be excited and drawing these characters as they are introduced too. I mean, already I've seen some fantastic Springball art out there, by the way. It's been such great stuff. Yeah, I usually don't like too much gore either. I've been watching Invincible, and sometimes I think it's too much. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, for me, it's particularly with people stuff. Like when I see a monster getting attacked or something like that, it's fine. And I do understand that, as someone who's an artist, there's a guy I follow on Instagram whose thing is, I think it's Horrify Me UK or something. And he does like photo shoots that are kind of like pinup shoots, but they're also gore shoots. And as an artist, I admire his craft. I follow him. I've even told him, you do really fascinating work, but it's not for everybody, and it's certainly it's nothing I could do, but it's something I can appreciate when other people do it. It's he does a great job with it. So this stuff right here is a look at what that is. Ronan Sony says, I love your excitement and discovery idea for a comic. Yeah, that's the stuff, guys. I love this stuff. I live for this stuff. I've been drawing comics. Like I was showing this on stream the other day. Probably showed this on, maybe I showed this on Hard Art, or maybe I showed it on the last Sunday stream. But here's a perfect example of, let me hide this for a second so I can show you this. This is my last comic book I published, and this is the first comic book I did when I was 14. So when I was 14 years old, I illustrated this comic book right here, which was called Indigo. I did this when I was a kid. And this is how I was drawing back then. This is like what my work was like when I just started. I didn't even know how comic books were made. Honestly, I used a computer printout, and it was just nuts, you know. And then here are the pages of 14-year-old Shanth art, very inspired by Tim Vigil. It's because Shanth joined the Thuggee cult, that's right, and hunted Indiana Jones for the Shankara stones. I actually wanted those prop replicas. I thought that'd be so cool to have. And so, yeah, my misspent youth, yeah, 100%. And so you can see me trying to do things like artist writer, oh my god. But you can see that I'm printing these out of my word processor, that I'm cutting around them and taping them to the artwork. so sad. But yeah, here's me drawing, God help me, at 14. And this is very influenced by Tim Vigil and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, here's me trying to draw people, heaven help me, and having trouble with perspective. I didn't understand what graphics duo shade and screen tone were, so I was actually trying to use Micron Pigma to create tones. Oh, it was terrifying. But yeah, here's one of my characters. Oh god, it's painful. Here's my Roadhouse influence. So there's Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse from a entertainment magazine or something that came out. There's the actress from Roadhouse who I was obsessed with for a while. And then here's some total unabashed Tim Vigil grips workout scene. Nobody has skin in this. Yeah, it is a bit off-putting. I agreed with that, Comics, Books, and Coots. Yeah, except when Shanth played the horror classics. Yeah, I know, I miss it too. It's such a pain. They're still going back and claiming my old videos now. Like, this video is all the money is. It's so frustrating. Grey Wolf graphics. In my Renfield trilogy, it's all black and white except for the bloody scenes. Schindler's List was the inspiration for that. Very cool. The cinematographer was I totally blanking on the name now, but it's his regular guy. But yeah, that movie has incredible cinematography, except for the little girl's red coat. I love that stuff. That's such a great look. Yeah, when I was a kid, before I had any Transformers, I made my own out of paper and called them Changers. That's awesome. Yeah, I used to do stuff like that too. Whenever you could find somebody who does all that stuff. Yeah, so much for copyright free. Yeah, it's a question of whether or not. Yeah, I feel the same way about it, guys. It's basically anybody can make a claim of any particular thing, and they'll do it still. Like, they do it everywhere. And you have to sometimes, figure out what you're gonna do, around that, and it's annoying. I love this too. This shows where I was as an artist at that point. It says right here on the back wall here, graffiti-wise, it says, "If I had a life, would I be writing this?" I just read that. Yeah, that's pretty accurate to where I was at that point. I was just drawing all day. I was a drawing fool. There's some no-point perspective right there for you with terrible graffiti. Oh my gosh, the Atlanta Braves. Look at that. That is just too funny. And then, of course, here's this is my mob boss, inspired by the Grips #1 mob boss, except for the lighting is absolutely dreadful. But look at this. Isn't that craziness? So when I think about doing this as a kid, I can't believe I was in that sort of headspace. But yeah, this is what I was doing when I was 14 years old. And then here's a portfolio of my friends' Dungeons and Dragons characters that I did. So yeah, I was just drawing for anybody who wanted me to do artwork for them. So this is the stuff I was doing when I was a wee lad, doing this artwork. So there you go. So I've been doing this stuff for a while. At the time when I was doing this artwork, I was so young and I was approaching this stuff. I couldn't afford, a master letterer or some amazing artist. Oh, wait a second. What a coincidence. There's the great Eric Weathers, letterer of Nosfero Oxidized Edition. And my brother in paint, if I'm not mistaken. Now that he's a painting fool and has an easel, man. So everybody say hello to Eric Weathers in the chat. What's up, Eric? Jay Ryan would say your work is better than Rob Liefeld's. I don't know about that. But yeah, just talked about Battle Brick Road a few minutes ago, Eric. Yes, we did. We did talk about Battle Brick Road. That's right. We're always representing here. Yeah. Sweet character portfolio. Thank you so much, Timmy Mello. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we did back then. Everybody saying hello, hello. You're saying hello at Eric Weathers, too. See, everybody, that's how it is. Everybody's saying hello to Eric Weathers. Even Eric Weathers is saying hello to Eric Weathers. So yeah, so that's right there is my approach to when I started comics. Basically, I started drawing comics as soon as I got into them almost. Well, let me see. Yeah, well, I mean, you forget time as a kid isn't very long, so yeah, pretty much as soon as I got into them, I was drawing comic books. And so what's changed now is the what the technology allows me to do. And so what I'm doing when I'm looking at this stuff and I'm looking at what I want to do with this work and what I want to do with Springball is I get to work on these pages and illustrate these pages in let me see if I can do this here. Gosh, I have so much junk on my desktop here. Something's going to crash in a second here. So let me see here. Hopefully it's not me. This one. There it is. Okay, let's see if this works. Hey, there we go. So now, let me just make sure this is set for, it's set for entire screen. I want it to be set for InDesign. There we go. All right, guys. So when people ask me how is Springball going, it's all happening at the same time. Everybody's saying hello to Eric Weathers. See, people are excited. Your last comment got banned. Oh, I don't know what it was, but I hope it was loving. Let's see here. We've got Ronan Sun the third, I think it is. Hopefully I'm counting those right. It's great to see you here again. Let's see here. Hail Eric, says Sir Lister. And yeah, even Eric says hello to Eric. And then, of course, Michelle Bauer says hello to Eric Weathers. There's Michelle. So here you go, guys. This is what's going on with regards to Springball. This is every day till 2 in the morning, wherever I am. I pretty much, I mean, I take this, I do this work on my laptop, and I have my laptop with me all the time. And I know, because I'm doing this by myself, I know anytime I'm not working on it, it's not getting done. And it's the same thing with this channel. It's the same thing with the Sunday streams. That's what I do. And so this is the world of Springball. This is the place that, you know, you're going to be going into, which is the city of Kingsport. It's going to be some of the most dynamic, cool, clear, crisp, beautifully colored comic book stuff that you've seen. And it's all coming from one person. You're going to see the sketches. You're going to see, you know, the sort of horror elements of this. You're going to, which are not, they're not that graphic, guys, so you don't need to worry. But you're going to see, let me zoom out for this. You're going to see some of the other exciting aspects of this story right there. You're going to see one of our female lead in this character, but you're going to see pages and artwork you've never seen. And there's a page right there. There's your glimpse right there of one of the new characters, the character that's going to be introduced in this run of the series, these 2-part story. That's your new character being introduced right there. That's your first peek at him. He may undergo some changes, but that's a quick look at him right there. And then look at these spreads, guys. Every bit of effort, everything going into this. Non-stop, one dude handling the shipping, the proofing, the printing, all of that stuff. That's what we do. To put together the best possible comics for you guys we can. That's, to me, that's the fun of it. That's what it's all about, is putting this stuff together so we can make something that is hopefully really exciting, really inspiring. And you guys get to see, as you know, when you're on this channel, you guys get to see the process of how I put this stuff together and how this stuff comes together. And these are new pages that most of you guys probably have never, you guys haven't seen these. I don't think I've shared those on stream. Certainly not where they are now. So yeah, that's what I do all day when I'm working on this stuff, is I put together what this book's going to be, what the story's going to be, how the pages are going to come together. See how much further I can go. Yeah, I'll take you this far. That's far enough. No more after that. But yeah, this is the stuff I'm doing. Yeah, tiny effort. This book, you're gonna love it. This is the book you've been waiting for. Yeah, all is well, Roxy and Chica. How are you doing? I hope you are well, Roxy and Chica. Came to say hi and show support. Thank you so much, but I shan't stay. God bless you. That was a good pun. Respect. Get it? Okay. Came for the joke. Respect. I love it. Ooh, boobs. Yeah. It's a requirement in my world, you know? That's probably because they're going after, oh God, I don't even know. Oh, I got it. Yeah, I'll get what you're saying. Work will set you free in German. Yes. Oh, I got you. That's probably what it is. Lean forward. Let me see here. Yes, you should be. Yeah. Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, that's more robe than diaphanous. It absolutely is, guys. So yeah, so these are the characters, and this is the world that you're going into. And I actually took my handwritten lettering, because I hand lettered the first Springball book because I was always a psycho. I was always doing everything myself. Because I was the cheapest person I could find, honestly. Which is why it was so great to have Eric letter Nosfero. It was such a great reprieve, and he did such a great job. But when I was working on this book, I decided that if I was going to not hand letter it, so I could work on the craziness of it, because I'm really getting nuts with it. I'm hand painting all of the sound effects and everything in this book. I wanted to create a font. So I created a font of my lettering from the original Springball so I can type in my comic book lettering font. So this is a font, the font that you see here that's being used is not available anywhere else. Sorry, it's in bad resolution here. But it's not available anywhere else because it's my comic book handwriting. So this is how I write and letter my own comics. So you can see warts and all, and I still got to get some of the kerning right on that. I have to go in every now and again and edit it. But this is just the sort of the temp writing that I'm putting in here. But yeah, this is the stuff that, and look at this, even a small panel like this, look at the craziness of the detail in the painting. But all of this stuff is so important for giving people that sense of, and I haven't finished detailing this building, but I want people to get a real sense of the believability of this world, the playfulness of it, that kind of classic comic book sense that's so important for this stuff. Gotta love that page. I almost want to tell you the joke of it. Actually, I feel like I should tell you the joke of that page, but I can't yet. This is an actual place I've been, which is a closed-off trolley tunnel that runs underneath Providence, Rhode Island. And it's closed off, filled with water, and so I actually use this as a location with a set piece. There you go. There's something for you kids. And then here's how I start my work. So I don't start my work with line and work into color. I start my work with color and value, painting it, and then I bring line into it. You can't get too good of a look at that character, just a little bit of a look. And then this is where it starts to go once I get a good handle on it. It looks cool, and you beat Maine to do a Liefeld McFarlane-inspired book. John's LeMayland. Yeah, I would totally get what you mean. Yeah, but John did one of the covers for Springball, so he's been in here from the start. I think John is getting excited by all this stuff because John was a big, well, as you guys know, he launched the book, he closed out the books, the campaign, he did a cover. He's so responsible for how this book's success is. Henry, heading out. Take care, Henry. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless. Indeed. Thank you, sir. Cheapest you can find. That's why I hire me to draw my book. See? Eric knows the strategy. Yeah, what's so funny is he, in some ways, yes, in other ways, he's kind of less gritty in a strange way. But he's, like I said, when you read the book, you'll see there's, I don't want to give too much away, but and you've got those first books. Those books are getting harder to find. You cannot find those books anywhere. Yeah, I love doing stuff with that big, bold, playful style, and I have to color. Yes, he's bulletproof, 100% bulletproof. Yep. None. He doesn't eat. He doesn't sleep. He can't close his eyes, and he can't forget. What is up, Darth Gutierrez? How are you doing, brother? Happy Sunday to you. I hope you are doing well. God bless you, man. Great to see you in the chat. And so, so Springball is just a much more, pages like this, and if you have the original book, this page is incredibly different in a lot of ways. The biggest being Springball coming at you, because this used to be a side shot. But doing the lettering on the water tower, this page isn't totally, resolved yet, but doing all of the words and the type on this by hand, the signage on the walls, making references right there to Crazy Cat. There's going to be a reference to Windsor McKay over there, and here's a reference to Hergé right there, and a reference to John Malin for that matter too. But this is the kind of craziness I want you guys to expect in terms of dynamic layouts and drama. This is the stuff I want to do. I want to get in there and show you guys detail that is just so crazy and so rich and so, exciting when you get this book. And it's great. It's going to be, look at that. The B cover as the artwork comes together on that. This isn't even the finish of it, but look at the insane detail. And I'm approaching it as a finished piece of artwork. I don't have to think about the colorist or anything like that. I go back with lines, I go back with color, go back with lines, and it all gets done and it gets plugged into InDesign. And I think it's really important to have a plan for your work when you're working on it. That's crazy. Sounds horrific. That's good for your world, though. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it so much. You guys are awesome. You guys really do make this great. Yeah, Marlin Spike Hall. Yeah, it's a little nod with Malin Spike. Yeah, got to do my Hergé nod. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's stuff in this book that it's a real jumping on point for a comic book, and I think it's crazy because I've been thinking about some of the superhero stuff that was in Comicsgate at the start, and only you guys could make me come back to this book. This is a book that exists, and it's available on Indiegogo, so if you haven't backed it yet, guys, back it now. It's on Indiegogo. The link is in the description. Make sure you grab this book. But this is a book that I think is going to get people excited about some of the stuff we've been doing in this space. And I know he's obviously going to be appearing in the Kings United book with all the other Comicsgate characters that are in that book. He's on the cover. He's on a cover for CYBERFROG's Red Extermination. One of the variant covers is Springball is on the cover with a big group of other characters, including Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex, John Malin's Godlike. So you guys can get this character a lot of different places, and this is the first of this new incarnation of the character's story. There were 2 issues published in 2002 when I was in my 20s. The artwork is nowhere near what this is, but you guys are going to flip when you see this. And this story is going so many cool places. Terminal Monstosity is going to be nuts. And lots of cool characters. I already have heroes lined up for the next story I do. I just don't know what the story is yet. I don't ever think about a new story till I finish the story I'm on. I want to pack these stories with every idea that I possibly can. Mikey's Madness is here. Sean the chat, Springball not going to be able to forget stuff is something I'm jealous of. That probably drives him crazy. Wait, hail Sean and chat, Springball not being able... Oh yeah, it is. Because I have a fairly good memory, a really solid memory, and sometimes it is a very frustrating thing. I also have difficulty sleeping, and I remember thinking to myself when I created him, I go, if he doesn't need to eat, and he doesn't need to sleep, and he can't close his eyes, which I really like as a fact of him that's also a vulnerability, it really changes how you experience the world. It changes how you look at things. And his journey of this kind of, not his journey, I should say, his experience, because it really is your journey as the reader that's the most important thing to me. But his experiences looking at things from that background is going to be crazy. Will Springball be troubled with internal conflicts like some characters, Darkman or the Crow? Springball is... Here's the crazy thing about Springball. The world gets dark around him. Maybe this is, me putting a little bit of my own personal stuff into it, but no matter how dark the world gets around him, Springball is Springball. He's kind of like Ash in The Evil Dead is the best way I would describe him. He is never nihilistic. He's never going to get down because he gets frustrated by things. He gets frustrated by not being able to protect people, not being able to save people. His brain can't really comprehend the stuff he's going to get introduced to in this story, which are monsters and the sort of supernatural possibilities, because he's science made and he's been attacking the crime in the city of Kingsport from that standpoint. Is I'm going after people who go after the innocent, hurt the innocent, and are a threat to street level criminals. But there's stuff that goes on beneath the streets and beneath the surface of the bay and the ocean where, Kingsport's off right off the coast of. And instead of being brought into this world by pure happenstance, one of the people he's trying to save, which if you know from the first book, is this little girl who goes missing, who's named after a character from Charles Dickens' short story. Her name is Nell. Although instead of spelling it Nell, her name is spelled Knell, like Death Knell. So Nell, he tries to rescue her, and in rescuing her, he figures out that she's been abducted by this cult with ties to this darker sort of world. And the story of him rescuing her necessitates the people who he knows casually in this world, who know more about what's going on in the darker part of the world, basically say, hey, Springball, listen, we got to talk to you about something. Kingsport, you know how you're able to kind of operate here and nobody gives you too much trouble and all of that sort of stuff. Well, there's more that you need to know about Kingsport. And we got to tell you about that now because it ties into what you're about to run into. And this is his experience, So Springball is used to street-level villains, grounded villains. Yeah, he fights. He's fought groups of people. He's fought gangs. He's fought... the best way I'd put it is he's fought muggers. He's fought every person you could run into in terms of human beings street level. But he's never fought a monster or a super villain type, powered villain before, or anything unusual out of the ordinary until this book. And very much so. It's like this is going to sound really strange, but it would be Lovecraftian by way of Dickens is the best way I would put it, because it's Dickens. If you look at my favorite, I think one of my favorite stories. I won't say it's my favorite book, but it's one of my favorite stories. Is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I actually have over here somewhere. I think it's over here. Maybe is it on that bookshelf? It might be over on a bookshelf over there. But I have a facsimile edition of A Christmas Carol. And what I love about that book is it's haunting, it's terrifying. It deals with the human condition. It deals with the death, the Grim Reaper, the past. But you get to the other side of the book, the story, I should say, as well, because it's a play, it's so many things. But you get to the other side of the book, and it's a story about redemption. It's a story about good. It's a story where good can exist in a world of horror. In the same way that Oliver Twist is very much that story. Oliver Twist is another brilliant sort of thing when you think about the street level aspect of what Springball's running into. Think Oliver Twist. He's dealing with everything that they're dealing with there. Sitting outside, 68-degree weather. Oh, that sounds great. It'd be horrific to be so near human, but not be able to be. Yes. Yeah. Change your, was Scrooge. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Scrooge was everything about that. Yeah, it's such a great story. Christmas Carol also had the best dad pun about bad food. Yes, it did. You're actually right. I didn't even think about that. That is great. Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's more, what is it? There's more gravy in you than grave. What a great line. Yeah, Dickens wrote things that changed the way we viewed ourselves, and heck, we viewed the Christmas holiday for that matter, which is kind of a beautiful thing. So when I'm looking at these books that I'm making, I'm a maker of books. Shaun of the Jedi Art started because I wanted to start publishing books, and I wanted to do it under my name and take ownership of it, which is why my first book is called Autonomous Treks. And for those of you guys who've been patiently waiting for Nosfero the Cryptwalker, and those of you guys who are excitedly waiting for Springball, you guys have a lot of stuff to look forward to that's going to be powered by Cherry Coke, I can assure you. But you've got a lot of stuff to look forward to. And this right here, this is the thing that's happening. Turkey or beef gravy. I got to tell you, man, oof. When it comes to gravy, I'll take any gravy you have. What have you got? I'm very James Dean as far as that goes. But turkey gravy is the Thanksgiving staple, man. So I got to have turkey gravy, but I'll have any gravy you've got. I do not care. I love gravy. Is Springball Dr. Manhattan in the sense that he has trouble understanding motivations of ordinary humans? No. That's the thing I love about the character. So Springball gets people very well. He's a quick study of people. He's made or he was designed when he was created without them thinking about his personality, and he's deep down he's basically designed after human beings, even though he's synthetically made, so to speak. He's designed after human beings, and unlike nihilistic works like Lord of the Flies or things like that, where the idea is human beings are inherently evil, and if left to their own devices, they become evil, or if they have enough bad things happen to them, they become evil, which is the exact opposite of Dickens. My attitude comes from experiences that I've had and people that I've met, in terms of, and also what I choose to see and cherish about humanity. Springball is not a nihilist. Springball believes in heroism. That's why he does what he does. He knows that things are tough out there. He knows that things aren't perfect. He sees no reason why he should add to it. And with his powers and with his strengths, to him it seems like a perfectly logical thing to do, to take care of people. It's almost an objectivist standpoint. And so he has friends. He meets people. He has inside jokes with his friends, which you'll see little glimpses of. One of my favorites aspects of it means, yes, Stone of Help. Yes. Oh, wow, that's wild. Because I know that was gotten off of a tombstone by Dickens, if I'm not mistaken. There's some weird serendipitous stuff that happens with names. So Nosfero, the name Nosfero was inspired by Nosferatu, because I love that movie. And I wanted to create a name that was like a ferocious name of Nosferatu. So I came up with Nosfero. Then I said, what if this means something in another language I'm unaware of? So I looked up what the definition could be of Nosfero in Romania, which is where those stories come from, where Bram Stoker set Dracula. And wouldn't you know it, that I have this piece of metal going through Nosfero's nose, and why you saw in the behind-the-scenes section of this book, it means iron nose. That was not intentional. It's that crazy. When you see stuff like that happen, you just think, okay, like, this is not my story. I'm just doing it. We're just seeing what we come up with. So, yeah, I love that stuff. Yep, you've got it, Comic Books in Cahoots. It's 100% that, yeah. And this is the crazy thing. Yeah, he should have a much easier time finding out who's lying. No, actually, funny enough, he doesn't. He doesn't, and he's not any better than us at reading women. I want to make sure I'm clear about that, too. Because Molly, who is the gal in Springball's book, even though he's not human, I don't know what's up with this girl, but she's got a total crush on him. She just absolutely thinks he's the coolest because, he's strong, he's a hero, he's mysterious, that kind of thing. But also, it's because Molly is inspired by Betty Boop and my love of Betty Boop and early animation, which is what a lot of this book is inspired by. So yeah, he can't read women for anything. Yeah, stars aligning and all that. Yeah, she does. Look, she's a straight up character. She is such a funny character in this story. And so is Drook, who is the guy he knows on the police force, the detective. Perhaps the question I should ask is, was Springball human before he got his powers? No, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't human before he got his powers. Springball is Springball. Springball is... What I love about Springball is it's not his costume, it's his face. It's his design. That's who Springball is. And the eyes on his chest and the eyes on his tail, which he can use as a periscope and also to aim when he throws the spring ball with. All of that stuff, it only makes sense for him to be in this world where he just can't be he can't be stopped. I mean, he can be in some ways. He can be contained. It's tricky to keep him contained for long. But he's a relentlessly optimistic character no matter how dark the story is. And there's like little lines in this which I love about, what is up? There we are. Lloyd, how are you doing, brother? It's great to see you. Hail. I was just talking about paintings that people have of mine in their house. And I got to tell you, I am so glad you have that. My first dragon painting, Lloyd. That is my first dragon painting. And hail and happy Sunday to you, my friend. And so, yeah, so Springball is 100%. Yeah, Springball versus Riddick. Oh, yeah, that would be cool. And very happy Sunday to you, Lloyd. And so what I like about Springball is if you like wrestling, right, professional wrestling and things like that. Not that I was a fan in the 80s, but I wouldn't say I keep up with it or anything like that. We have real wrestling fans here. I'm a mixed martial arts. I'd say I'm like a solid fan of mixed martial arts, but not really a huge fan because I got into it late. But I'm a massive boxing fan. But in Springball can do things like set up his tail, use it like a slingshot. He can use it like ring ropes to bounce off of. He can use it as a catapult. There's so many things he can do with that. And it's such a great device. But he can also use it like a mace and knock somebody out with it. So that's the thing that's so fun about it. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I just, yeah, putting that in the box and shipping it was the hardest thing because I was like, please, like, let it be good for Lloyd. Let Lloyd like it. Yes, and happy Sunday, says Cranberry Langers. Yeah, I want there to be fun out there because I think that Have you done a round of boxing with Sean Yanzi? I don't know if I'd be very good at boxing. Anything. I'd be a cardio. All you have to do is run around me in circles, and you'd tire me out. The cardio is what would get me. But yeah, I want Springball to be a character that people see and go, oh, this character's fun. This character is going to be in a crazy story. He's going to be in intense things, but I always know what he is and what he's about. You really have developed a character since those early issues. Yeah, I wouldn't do this story without... I wouldn't have come back to Springball because a lot of people were asking me to do it, and then finally I absorbed it for a little bit, and I went, who am I to say? There's this old saying that gets truncated to where it makes no sense. Anybody who's ever worked a real job and worked in sales and worked with people knows that when people use that quote, the customer is always right. I'm always like, there's more to that quote, one. And two, how does that work? Because I've worked in a movie theater. I've worked in sales. What do you do? I've worked at an industrial chicken farm. If you've ever worked at a movie theater, if you've ever seen two people get into a fight over who was first in line for a movie, if they're both right, how does that work? It's ridiculous. I don't know, but the full quote is, the customer is always right in matters of taste. Now, that's important, which is to say, thank you, Cranberry Landris knows, in matters of taste. It's absolutely the truth. And so here's why that's important. If customers say to me, Shant, we want Springball, who am I to say, I'm not going to make Springball for you and sell you Springball? If I have an idea. So I made it, I said, I'm not going to do it if I don't have an idea, but if my brain comes up with an idea and I think I can do it, who am I to say you can't buy Springball? That's crazy. That's madness. And so for me, if people want an art edition of Nosfero and enough people want to buy it, I'm going to make it. If people want me to do a second printing of Nosfero, I'm going to make it. If people want me to put something on a shirt and I find the time, I'm going to make it. That's how that works. And so the customer's always right in matters of taste. It's not my job to tell somebody what, if they want to buy something from me and I have the will and the resources to make it, then I'm not going to make it if they want to buy it. That's crazy. So I want to make things available to you guys. And so, yeah, when I came back to do Springball, it became what it is today, and it became something that is, I can see this entire adventure, how cool it was going to be. Now I can see future adventures. So Nosfero has a future story, because when this book came together, I had no idea how it was going to go. I was like, now I know what I want to do. Before I finished this book, I knew what I wanted to do for the second book. I already have seeds of an idea for the next Springball arc, so I know how I've got to do issue 1, then issue 2 for the 2-part story. Knock on wood. Not the 3-part story. But I've got to do that. And then I've got to do... then I've got an idea for a story after that. We'll see where it goes. Madness! This is Sparta! Says Moromi, channel member. God bless you, man. And yes, I was waiting for somebody to say that. It is madness. Do a bait and switch Springball cover and put Springball story instead. Yeah, Spring Roll story. Oh, I'd love to do a Spring Roll story. Yes, when people give you money for your work, let them. Yes, when people, yeah, absolutely. People want to give you money, get out of their way. It's the same thing I tell people about having channel memberships. Everything you guys do pays for brushes, pays for, pays for StreamYard, which is, what is it now? $65 a month. Ecamm, the broadcasting software I'm using now. Reference books, paper, pencils, software, Photoshop is so much a month, and Illustrator and InDesign, all of which I use. Every time you guys who are channel members, that's why I always want to make sure I give you guys that attention and you guys get those custom emojis and all that kind of stuff, is because you guys make this stuff possible. It is so difficult. I'm a one-man operation. Thank God Mrs. Ingetti helps with the mailing labels and all that stuff, but all 680 of those packages I sent out for the first Nosfero campaign, I packed personally. I packed them personally, and I tried to write thank you in every single one, unless I forgot. So that's really important stuff for me to do, and it's a big part of what we do. He could even use that tail to KO, yes, a whole crowd of goons at once. Yep, ricochet combo. He's doing a billiards trick shot. Yeah, all that stuff is stuff that Springball can do. It's so... But here's the thing I love about Springball. Here's one of his vulnerabilities, right? Springball requires a certain amount of kinetic energy to use his powers. If somebody grabs Springball and then drags him underwater, suddenly his tail doesn't work effectively. His punching power, he's still as strong as 10 men, but he can't really bounce off of anything underwater because he can't get it up enough of momentum. So things change really drastically for him. So he's not a character who's impervious to everything. And that's what makes it cool. Yeah, where's Sumo? He's gifted me twice this week. There it is. Yeah. The grapple, bounce, bludgeon, tail is so much possibilities. Yeah, that's the cool thing about it. And see, because at first, the idea I had for this character, funny enough, was the first idea I had was it was like a bungee cable. And then I was like, but am I going to have a grapple at the end that can unclip? And then I came up with this idea of a suction ball. So it could be used as a mace, but if he throws it, he can change its chemistry so that it can suction cup onto anything like brick, a person's face, if he wants to throw him across a room. So that was the stuff that was the big breakthrough with this character that happened right before I did the book in 2002. Oh my gosh, a man called Plush sending us $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Like the happy accident with the name Nosfero, Neil Adams wasn't aware how similar Ra's al Ghul's appearance mirrored Christopher Lee's. You're absolutely right, and that is a beautiful, beautiful comment. Here are some cheerleaders for you, my friend. Possibly. Now, that's an interesting idea. I'll have to see how that works. And here, this is for you, a man called Plush. And yes, indeed, I know you know this about me, but I was watching that beautiful interaction. It was the last time I think that Peter Cushing was on film for Hammer, which was a behind-the-scenes video of Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing talking, and you could just see their friendship. A lot of people don't know this, but Christopher Lee used to call up Peter Cushing to check on him and say hello, and Peter Cushing used to love when Christopher Lee would do his Sylvester the Cat imitation. And Christopher Lee does it in that video. He goes, I called him up and I say, hello, how are you doing, Christopher? How are you doing, Peter? And it was the funniest thing you'll ever see. They're such great people. So here you go. Here are your cheerleaders, and welcome back, Henry Thrun. It is great to see you, my friend. And so here you go. Here are your cheerleaders.
Charge! Charge!
Yes, indeed. And we are back, guys. Yeah, I mean, it is so great to watch this stuff come together. You guys are here from the start. You're going to be here from the start on Inglorious Rex. CyberFrog, which was the first book I ever backed, was CyberFrog Blood Honey, the very first chromium cover. I remember how long it took to build, you know, the streaming aspect of Comicsgate and all of that stuff while that book was being made. I've got my CyberFrog action figure over there with all the wall of books and things like that. And it's been great to watch this stuff come together. You got to love it, right? You got to love it, right, Henry? Yeah, Springball casually employing quantum physics to stick that bludgeon to anything, bro, is menace. Yeah, that's the thing that's going to be... Because I love science, too. I really love science. And I like the idea of him being of the scientific world. And because he's got very much the personality of a human being, he knows for a fact that he is, you know, man-made, not man-begotten. So he is not a human being. But it's going to be really interesting to see his reaction to the spiritual element of things. Because he's not an android. He's not Data. He's not Dr. Manhattan. He's not the kind of person who's going to go, well, obviously, this is just a scientific... When you see a cosmic horror come through a rift in space, I don't want a character who's that dry and that clinical, and also who's incapable of having... Springball is capable of hope. That's what makes him interesting to me. He's capable of hope. He's capable of having faith. He's capable of friendship. He's not this cold mechanistic thing, and ultimately I don't think that's a requirement in terms of how we go about things. And so while he's not a human being, he is 100% has humanity. And that's important for me for a character. I created my own character called Frogman. Very nice. He lives in a junkyard next to a frog swamp. I love drawing frogs, by the way. They're so great. When he went out to battle crime, you could see the weapon he made had some of the stuff that came from the junkyard. Very, very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do have some seasonal zombie cheerleaders. I actually do. Yeah, I have some ghost cheerleaders. But I gave up. I'm not a comic book artist. Well, but you're doing woodwork, too. So that's a whole nother thing, which is great. You know, graphene scientist, yes, indeed. Have you ever seen the Von Robot skit from the Ben Stiller show? Wow, that is a major memory thing. I don't remember it exactly, but I'm having a memory of that show, and I'm wondering if I've seen it now, Henry. I'll have to look that up. Yes, indeed. Frogtown, California, now sells micro sparkling drinks. That would be awesome. Yeah. At Tiny, the character idea sounds really interesting, though. Yeah, it is an interesting idea for a character, man. It's how this stuff comes together, guys. And we're fortunate that we're in such a creative place to where, as you guys know. And what am I doing? My TV is off. What the heck? You see if I can get this to work here. I hate when the screen's blank. We're gonna go back down now. Sorry if I made anybody dizzy. But I can't have you guys seeing a blank screen when you come onto these streams. That's terrible. I gotta do better. I have to do better. Let me see if this works here. Oh yeah, I'll look it up on YouTube, Henry. 100%. Yeah, that sounds hilarious. Yeah, Ben Stiller he's got the greatest level of terror and comedy in one person. Like, he does that great kind of those great terrifying characters. So let me come back up here now that this is up here. So there you guys go. There are the trailers playing. So yeah, we have lots of creativity. So this is Little Miss E. This is my daughter. She came home from school, from college, to drop this off with me. This is her Springball. She also crocheted for me a Nosfero, who's over here hanging out. There's my Nosfero. And of course, one of our very own Cursed Heart Creations crochet of Thulu. Look at the crazy amount of detail in here. We've got some crochet. I don't know if you guys know this or not. My wife is a knitter. I'm a big hit with the Fiber Arts ladies. You might not know that. That is probably my biggest constituent. I am Fiber Arts adjacent. My wife, my daughter, they all love to do things with crochet and knitting and all that stuff. So it's cool. So I mean, I learned a lot of it. Like, I know a lot about different kinds of yarn. I've gone to the Rhinebeck, the New York Sheep and Wool Festival with the missus. I found all this cool stuff for her when she got into it. So I got to know my things. The Fiber Arts. Yeah, it's a rare form of combat that involves crocheting. Yeah, that Thulu plushie is amazing. It's incredible what she did. That's right. I'm going to always make sure you guys, okay, I'll make sure I get some stuff out there in front of the audience for you when I get it sent. Yeah, I started detailing my Transformers toys with paint markers again. Very cool. So are you giving them like those kinds of scratches and like wear, like they've got that lived-in look? Or are you going in and doing like, crispening up color and putting in different kinds of levels of chrome? It's a really cool thing. Yeah, woo, fiber artists. You guys know. Textiles get me excited. Yes, indeed, they do. Shadowhawk Talks. It's true. And it's good stuff. Your daughter is amazing on the Springball. Thank you. I will tell her you said that. She really was blown away by the Thulu. She really loved it. There's a guy I look to for artwork who inspires me when I'm doing my painted stuff. And he's in Germany, and he does if you've ever seen these guys are crazy. But he paints aviation model kits, and he weathers like where the paint's coming off, where there's like oil streaks on it, things like that, where there's weathering. And these things, when you see the thumbnails for his videos, you think you're looking at an actual HD photograph of an airplane, and it's a model kit that's like this, and it's crazy, man. Yeah, I love that. Springball was so great, and it was so great to get that from her. Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind on the chat here. Yes, indeed. Hail, Shadowhawk. Lots of love here. How does your world, let me see here. How does your world around Springball interpret him? Fear and revulsion, or acceptance, or both? People, the general populace likes him just fine because he's always doing good stuff. The problem is he's in a town where there's a lot more dark stuff happening, monsters and things like that under the surface. And so he lucks out where he comes into this town where they've got so many secrets they aren't worried about his. So as long as he's fighting street-level criminals and he thinks he's keeping up with, that, he feels a sense of accomplishment. The problems kind of arise because you have a criminal element in this town that doesn't want anybody visiting. They just want to kind of keep appearances. You know what I mean? So the regular people who live in this town, unless they're needed for some, evil purpose or whatever, the regular people in this town are window dressing, and it's in their interest to sort of let them alone. Nobody can really get ahead. Nobody can really get out. But they're just as anxious to avoid people coming in from the outside and looking into this town as Springball would be in some ways. And so the fact that Springball is in this town kind of gives him a little bit of anonymity and a little bit of protection. It's a very strange setting, but it kind of is, in terms of, it's a really great way of making it sort of work for this, superhero book, which I'm not trying to go for utter realism by any stretch. Man, seeing Springball on that screen makes you think you hire DC animation artists. Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's fun to put that stuff up there. I'm doing some of each. Oh, very cool. Adding missing color panel, things like that. Doors, excellent. And doing some washes. Very cool. Soon I'll start dry brushing for the weathering. Oh, that's awesome. What's up, Grim Jim? How are you doing? Yeah, I got my guy in my Discord that does that to his models. He loves making tanks. Yeah, tank modelers are crazy too. They do amazing stuff. Beyond, you're speedy compared to Grim. Yeah, he's new. He's learning this stuff. Shadows over Innsmouth. Yes, indeed. You know it. And that is the book that is the inspiration for 50% of Kingsport. 50% of Kingsport is that, and then the other 50% is Providence, Rhode Island, and my stomping ground and H.P. Lovecraft's stomping ground. And then it's crossed with Max Fleischer's Metropolis in certain ways too, because I like what Max Fleischer did with Metropolis in the Superman cartoons. Yeah, my favorite thing to do is the washes. It really brings out the molded details. Agreed. I just 3D printed a part for one of them as well. Very cool. So like real life in the modern generation. Yeah, sort of. And the Indian scientist who created Springball, does he come back for this new version? I don't know, actually. I haven't figured out how much of his origin I'm going to show. So that version of his origin may be the only version of his origin that ever is printed. And it's certainly not the guaranteed canon in this story, because he's changed so drastically as a character. He was in that first version I did of the character, he was very Edward Scissorhands, interestingly enough. There was that kind of element to him. And now he's a lot more... oh boy, you guys are asking some really good questions. He's a lot more... he's a lot more like a product of a place like S4. If you know that, catch that reference. You'll know what I mean. Let me see here. And so we've got, go to the GoFundMe and check this out for Shadowhawk Talks. Any assistance is appreciated. If you guys would check it out, we would really appreciate it. GoFundMe right there. And yes, indeed, you're very welcome, Shadowhawk Talks, guys. Go there. If you can help out, it would be appreciated by everybody. So thank you. And thank you, Shadowhawk Talks, for all of your enthusiasm and your support. Seriously. It's great to see people coming together to help. That's wonderful. He started as a hummus and falafel stand. Yeah. Now he's what did he do? He if you guys have the first incarnations of this character, because this book is so different than the first issue and the second issue, it's completely nuts. It's completely different. But if you have that stuff, you'll they're going to be a great side-by-side comparison, not just for the art, but where the story goes. This is a much more holistic and well-rounded book, is the best way I can put it. The story's better, the world is better, the city is better. Like, everything in this city is so cool. And now there are secondary characters that are going to be a part of it, which some of you guys saw earlier on the stream. You're going to have a new character that's going to be sort of a darker character, but not like dark in a sense of like gore. It's going to be a character who's just a little bit more hard-edged. Springball is a very, he's a positive guy with a little bit of a funny sense of humor. Like, he can give as good as he gets when it comes to sarcasm, but he really isn't somebody who's prone to hopelessness or that kind of thing. And the character he's with is much more of a dark realist, and so that's going to be the cool thing to get to play with their interplay. All right, guys, we're at 2 hours and 33 minutes. My goodness, you guys have gotten me going on this stream, which is great, because so excited to show. Why is it doing it to me now? Here, give it a second here. Let me put up. It does that sometimes with the camera. Let's see if that helps. Let me turn on the this screen here, so we have something on screen. You guys have really got me talking about all of this stuff. It wouldn't be a stream without a little bit of temporary camera trouble, would it? But you guys have got me going talking about all this stuff. Of course, I'm excited about... There we go. Now we're back. Because I was about to show you guys... I made the mistake of adjusting my camera. I was about to show you guys what we were talking about today, which is these are the proofs for the art edition of Nosfero, the Crypt Walker. Here you get to experience the art without words in all of its glory. If you backed this campaign, these books are coming to you as soon as we get them and I can start shipping them out. But I first got to approve the proof, go over a couple of things. So we've got this edition of the book ready to proof here to be looked at and gone over, which has been done, and Nosfero. So if you missed that part of the stream, make sure you check it out. It is really, really cool stuff. And also check out the eBay store of Shadowhawk Talks, which is, of course, eBay rated CG books, collectibles, lunchboxes, all of that stuff. Loaded blood honey boxes, all that great stuff is there, guys, to help raise money. Yeah. So, yeah, that's much better, right? That's easier to see than that blur. I will watch the replay for the Shout Out Brother Great stream. Yes, guys. And thank you so much for being here. So, from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Jonathan Jetty. You've been watching Jonathan Jetty Art. Speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace be with you on this fine Sunday. Give nihilism no quarter. All of you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I will see you guys very soon. And if you're a channel member, you are going to see your name in the credits at the end of every single stream I do. That's my stream anyway. Hard art obviously is different because that's Shane and John's been bouncing before their channels there. But yes, indeed. Thank you guys so much. Take care, awesome one. Great to see all of you guys. Thank you so much, Cranberry Langers. Have a great day and have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you, Shadowhawk Talks. Have a great Sunday. Thanks for being here. Have a great day, Cursed Heart Creations. Roxy and Chica, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Timmy Mello, my brother in art. Have a great day, my friend. Take care, Henry. Have a wonderful day. Cranberry Langers. I'll see you guys very, very soon. And take care, and all of you guys, and whatever you do, keep being creative, keep hanging out, try to bring as much positivity as you can out there, and work hard and enjoy the day, guys. It's been a pleasure to spend these Sundays with you. Take care indeed. I will see you guys very, very soon. I promise I will see you next Sunday. And here you go. Here are your names in the credits.